Okay, let's see, 6:30. So let's call to order the November 25th, 2025 meeting of the planning board. We have, I guess, minutes. September 23rd.
Motion to approve. As
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
October 28th.
Say what again? September 23rd, and then isn't it the 30th?
Yeah, it
Jumps around. I know, we might have the 14th, that's supposed to be.
Was that the second one that was there for the minutes?
so those will be Keith's minutes. That was the quick meeting you guys had to do an A&R that time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just the
Oh, yeah, it
one,
was
yeah.
just the
Yeah,
one
the
thing.
28th.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the 28th of October.
Have a second.
I'll second council.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, another one. That's all I have in my packet.
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to do minutes for September 30th and the 14th.
Do you have notes from the 14th?
Yes, you know, there's no video on the YouTube. I did
There's
record.
no audio. They recorded the video, but there's no audio.
Oh.
But if you got notes,
I
Keith, that
no,
would be
well,
huge.
I did audio record it, so I have something.
You are the man.
Yeah, it's nice to have a backup. Thankfully, it's a terrible recorder, so. But I was gonna say, you know, I note take. It's either, you know, this whole getting good at minutes is a either you're good at summarization or not. And you know, I've either got to decide what each person said.
Yeah.
And I either say what your 5 minutes, what happened in 5 minutes in one sentence, or I give you a paragraph. And you know, I did 28 minutes yesterday of a 3-hour meeting. I think I was on page 3 of typing. So I mean, it doesn't go by quickly, you know. So I do have them. I do have most of, you know, pretty sure it's all there. I know it's an important meeting, so.
That's huge because we have
Oh, there's
nothing
no,
else.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
nothing else.
Yeah, no, I recorded it, so I mean, it's just gonna be awful, and I was gonna maybe say, if I could give you the audio, if you wanted to do it, I'm not sure you want to, it's okay if you don't. But it'll speed things up.
Yeah, and if it helps, my rule of thumb is, because I had to learn the hard way too when I was learning to take minutes, is
Yeah.
that one, it doesn't have to be a transcript.
True.
Which I was doing a lot in the beginning. And the other thing that I try to think of is, if somebody was gonna look at this in 5 years, what
What's
would be the
Yeah.
important piece? What would still be relevant that we'd wanna know
Yeah.
5-10 years from now? If that helps you at all to pare it down. But if you're overwhelmed with trying to write those minutes, I'm happy to help you, so
Cool.
we can get something to paper.
Yeah, you know, it is hard to say like, well, I'm gonna ignore what you said, cause I don't wanna bother typing it, or I wanna ignore, or this is better than something else, so this sort of like, you kinda look at it and you go, man, this, you don't wanna leave someone out. And then, if I have dyslexia, I gotta reread probably 3 times to figure out if I'm using English properly. But yeah, maybe we can work that out,
Yes,
you know, if you don't mind.
I'm happy to help.
And yeah, we'll get it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then beef.
Yeah. Hey.
But you might be working, so you might be,
Well,
want some treats. That's probably it.
So we'll put a hold on those two then?
Yeah,
I think I am going to have to leave,
Yeah, feeling good, Norm?
feeling good?
yeah,
Okay.
so. Dick, all yours.
Thanks a lot.
Norm, you gonna be okay to get home? You need somebody?
I think I'm
Sure.
okay.
Yeah. Well, if you need anything, call us,
I
right?
think it's mostly my blood sugar.
Oh,
You're all right.
Yeah.
no.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Need to get
I think
home?
we'll be okay.
Okay.
All right, take care, Norm.
All right, I'm taking out of sequence, we're going right to the A and R.
Sure. How are you?
Good. Haven't seen you guys in a while.
I'll look at a larger copy.
We've got is a parcel of land on Meadowbrook Circle owned by Steve Miller. And he just wants to cut, there's a house and there's a garage on the property. He wants to cut a house lot off with the house. He wants to do something with that. So we've got area, we've got frontage for both pieces. So that's what we got. Kind of behind Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts is right up in here.
No, yeah, but isn't this the property we were taking by eminent domain?
No,
Okay, wrong one, sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Not this one.
I'm being smart.
It's a good
I do that bit.
there's
Man.
Ron Pepperuski. He had the other house beside Dunkin' Donuts that
This
was
is on the
torn down.
opposite side, okay.
Yeah.
So this is,
I see you cut the land to go around back, probably to,
Yeah, to get the area.
but I was
because-
gonna say you can't get too close to the buffer for that garage.
Right,
That must
so we
be-
try to get as much, so we can get around the garage.
Yeah,
you couldn't have this little piece right here for this house right here. So they have
These
enough
flag lots,
area.
To
area.
be able to
So-
get around the garage.
dirty and nasty, like, cause
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
oh, you,
buy it and they don't know, and
yeah, you're paying for land that you don't really get to use, you know?
right, cause then you're like, if they both sell and then all of a sudden the guy's walking around the back of the other guy's house, you'd be like, what's going on here?
Mistake it, yeah.
This is land.
This is,
Is there a driveway to that garage building?
It's pretty much everything on Meadowbrook Circle is a driveway to the building.
Okay.
This is
It's a
all
big
just-
open.
Yeah.
It's just a
That's
big
what-
open flat.
Okay.
Right open.
And that, I guess I'll ask the board and you, Julian, this doesn't leave this lot unbuildable, correct? It's
It's
still,
it's already there, it's all
It meets-
built.
It's already built and it
oh, I get
meets,
that, but,
it has 10,000 square feet, which is what's required.
okay.
So he's adding to the lot that, obviously it used to be this whole thing,
Yes, and he's
right?
cutting this off so he can sell that
This gets ridiculous.
house.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want the house anymore, but he
Yeah.
wants to keep the
Yeah, he wants to
garage.
keep the garage, it's not unbuildable.
And it's
the
in,
extra land to go with.
and the extra land to go with it,
And-
and something can be done here.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
you're
can,
right.
But you
Thanks.
can't do much more here, so.
yeah,
You're back far enough that's right, okay. Dick reminded me, this is a TC zone, so
Yeah.
the 10K is okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Julian, I was doing my math, I'm going like, that's half an acre.
TC one,
yeah, it's,
that's a quarter of an acre.
Quarter, yeah, that's right,
It's
That's a
50,000,
quarter, I think less than a quarter of an
Yeah.
acre,
yeah,
so.
okay.
But it's
Do
in that
we-
little corner that,
do we have any sort of, like any sort of guidance on how many more times this thing can be subdivided? Are there any
I would
regs for
say-
that, or,
I would say at least 4.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's just.
They can go
minor
different
increments.
choices,
Alright.
yeah.
Yeah, the center of town is a,
It
Almost like a
depends,
city.
Alex,
Yeah.
on the frontage
I
is
was
the
gonna
big
say
key.
it's 260
I was just wondering, I didn't know.
frontage.
or what
I
is
guess-
100
I guess it
feet?
could
So-
be divided up
Twice,
twice.
yeah.
Yeah,
But in the TC, there's other things that can be done. You can have multi-units on it,
yeah.
so many square feet.
Well,
Yeah, you can have
I
multi-units
hate-
upstairs
hate
and
to say
offices
this, but-
downstairs.
Mr. Blair owns a good chunk of land right here, and I can't remember if it was 2.5 or 5 acres right here, and it comes over.
Right.
And the town of Rutland also owns a little small chunk of land, so they could probably tap right in to part of this and build something.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about,
Yes.
cause that's
I'd
town
say.
land, yeah.
Yep. So there's always something to keep in mind, you know, that,
Which part of that is town land?
So on the
it's
other
on Main Street, it's
Okay.
not
Yeah.
listed down here.
Oh, okay,
Just-
all right.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying that,
The other way there.
I don't see, I'm good. I guess
That
I'll
looks weird.
make a motion for 2 Meadowbrook Circle to endorse the A&R plan.
Second,
second,
second for the group, yeah.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. Okay.
Okay, or
Motion.
that's good enough. Got a quorum.
Love it, but it's,
Alright.
yeah, within the
The
regs.
next question is, do we,
Do we have the pen to
There's
let's
a
sign
district
it?
somewhere.
Yeah,
If you
everything's
do, I
over
brought the
here.
secret pen, I brought a
Secret
sticky note
pens.
so that the writing doesn't smudge, and if you can also sign the paper copy for the file, I would appreciate that.
Let you guys start.
How many signatures is that?
As long as you have 3, you're fine. Yep.
Today's the 25th, is that correct?
Yes. Good luck, Uncle Sam. Thanks for the check.
Sir. Empty copy.
Oh, I guess,
And,
I signed this one, didn't I?
This is just the paper
Oh, the
copy.
paper copy, sorry.
Yeah.
Santa Claus. have a nice
Alright, let's try not, best not to smudge.
day. You should be seeing a large email coming your way. I sort of bypassed the system and said, you need to go please log these in when you get
It's
back.
weird that I sign my name that way. even though
Thanks.
It's not how I like it.
It's not your big toe.
Nightmare.
There you go.
Here's
Multiple.
Very impressed with the thing.
That's the new,
So, I mean, which one needs to have everybody? Just one for
Says
the,
that there were attachments.
'cause I'll- 'cause-
This only technically needs 3,
give it a chance
but
to load
ideally,
up, cause
whoever
it's
signed
pretty
this, I
big.
would like to sign
They're
it.
Yeah,
docs,
so I don't know,
Oh, I
those are
see.
the, we only did
Sign
one
that.
paper copy,
Yeah.
so that one's done for us.
Dude, this
Yep,
is the
this one's all
$1,000
set.
you'll be
Okay.
paying
Cool.
every time you do a
Yep.
disturbance over X amount of feet. This is the new
Where?
Fed's way of making the town's money.
Indeed.
No, no. Well, you can pass it on, just think of the lobby you can
It's
pass
gonna
on.
be, you need a plan.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, they'll have to
This is
come.
not good. This is not good for landowners.
No, it's not, but
This is not a
unfortunately,
good thing.
we have until December 31st to pass it.
Mylar.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
This might be this.
Yo, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, boy.
We gotta sign those too.
Oh,
If you wanna send them over.
I don't think we signed those.
No, we don't.
Okay,
No,
so
we
we
just
just
keep them as
needed
copies.
one sign.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
Sign
that's
for the
what I was
file.
wanting.
That's the
One
file.
for the Mylar, so those are just extra copies, I can take those back to the office.
You could put those in the file, Tamika,
Yeah.
probably, if somebody wants to look at them, we got.
Or I'll leave one in the clerk's office.
No,
Perfect.
We can do a department, that's all.
No, we'll be hiring a new clerk, Julian, so.
No, I'm gonna have to hire a new department,
Oh,
specifically to stormwater.
All right.
Towns are doing it, I
Text
don't know
Norm
if it's
to
doing
make
any
sure he
good for
got
anybody,
home
other than
at some
costing the
point.
poor
I
homeowner.
did, I just,
Okay.
but I forwarded to Jean to see if she can open them, cause I can't open them.
No, I
on my-
mean text to just make sure he drove home safe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just,
Alright.
I'm just, cause you probably have his number or something,
Yeah, let me,
just in case, just to get that.
Well, let's get back, unfortunately, to the public hearing.
gonna have to open that up. So-
Yep.
So we'll have to open. There is no. There he is.
All right, we'll open it up at
6:46.
6:46. Okay, is the draft on the screen?
Can you guys on the other side
No.
put the,
They don't have it.
well, no, it's in the packet. If you pull they've got the packet, correct? Okay, thanks. If you guys pull the packet up, there's a draft, it says draft in there, that is the discussion for tonight. Can you put that up on the screen for the public? Please? There we go.
Starts on page 9 of the packet.
Probably should email it to them.
Was this supposed to be on the town meeting that just happened? Or did we miss the deadlines?
No,
to
the
do
bylaw was passed.
Yeah.
What we're gonna talk about are the regulations that will govern the bylaw. Yeah, you might wanna sit
It's
for this one,
deeper.
Julian.
I see a couple of things that just don't seem,
Yeah. Firefox, man, I remember that database. I'm that old.
So do I.
Oh yeah, cause the military heavily used that. I forgot about that.
They were probably still using Ask Jeeves or something. They're in like an Alta Vista crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, I use Alta Vista tunneling software too. That's how old I am. There it is. There's the packet. Should be down on page 9.
Sorry, I kind of crowded.
It's today.
Move back to the screen.
There we go, right there. That's first page.
Is that why I can make faces?
I guess Dick, I'll just yell at him.
You go right ahead, please.
Oh, I just,
You're-
I was looking, what I
Thank
was
you.
gonna talk to is that since the public hearing, we just take input from the public. And then, we can put our comments with the public comments and come back at the next meeting and put together a recommendation. That's what I was thinking. I don't know what the rest of the board was thinking,
Yeah.
but I didn't wanna get into detail in the weeds on this meeting. I still got, I'm halfway through this thing, so. I guess if you guys for public comment, we could walk, well, no, typically we do the board first, if the board's got
Board first,
everything.
yeah. Does the board got any questions? Any input?
I can tell you, Dick, I've got some, but I need to finish, so that's why I wanted to get all their input and then put our input with it next week, or no, I'm sorry, next meeting. and then come up with what we're gonna do. Still gives us a month to get this thing blessed.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean,
It is an awful lot.
You know, like you said, it's almost, you know, the building inspector is that gonna be under his envelope as well as ours? Or who's going,
DEP, DEP,
Yeah.
DCR,
You gonna
not
s-
DC, DPW, thank you.
They've got the enterprise fund where I mean, I presume that's where the money's gonna come in a separate type of fund. I don't know how that's gonna work
where
out.
it's gonna be
But
going, I would think.
The budget that I gave to Seth included a part-time admin to cover all of this work. Cause this is beyond what a planner can do, so I've got a part-time clerk as part of the budget that went in.
I guess one of my questions was like, I've read through a lot of it, and how much of it is a requirement, and how much of it are we allowed to, like, some breath to put our spin on it? Or is it like, hey, this is what's being accepted no matter what, and like, we can fiddle around with it as much as we want, but it's not gonna matter, cause it was passed at a state level and there's nothing we can do.
That's why, to me, I know the lady couldn't be here tonight,
Yeah.
but she's gotta be our guidance. That's why I didn't
Yeah,
really,
from the
I
last-
didn't wanna
yeah.
do anything tonight once she
Really,
wasn't gonna
yeah.
be here, cause we're guessing. That's Dick, that's what I would think. I would like,
my short comment might
Question?
be,
Well, let's,
yeah, I'll get one in, you probably wanna know too. I mean, is this, I apologize the way I'll put it, but, you know, it says Stormwater Committee approves or disapproves the application. I mean, say they disapprove it, so the town loses out on, say it's a positive thing for the town or not positive thing for the town, or whatever everyone decides to put it on. Is it like you gotta pay your way to get the project to go, or is there like
there's
if
no
you-
freebies.
Right.
well, that's what I'm saying, it clear, how can you get denied if you follow all their rules? Is it cause your land isn't perfect, like I'm just, like how could you actually deny someone?
There could be a multitude
Yeah.
that, which to Julian's point, if somebody didn't have the skill set, did the drawing set,
Yeah.
didn't lay it out correctly.
Yeah, and that's
I
not,
was just gonna say, it's a nightmare from even following the rules.
Yeah, all I'm just saying,
There's rules
don't have the
already
skill
in
set-
place that are almost impossible to follow. So there's a lot of interpretation from both sides,
yeah,
and that gets very
Yeah.
difficult sometimes.
there'll be
But that's-
negotiations in this, I
It's
guarantee.
unfortunate on, if somebody has a house lot they wanna build their house on, and now they're stuck doing this, and
I mean, the construction projects this applies to are fairly significant. I mean, the construction's gotta disturb 20,000 or more square feet of land.
Just a half
Or
acre.
add
Which is
five,
that's,
just
yeah,
like that.
but like, if you're building a house, are you disturbing an entire half acre of land to build a
Sometimes.
house?
you're pretty close, cause you got your
Trees.
What's
driveway,
the-
you got your house,
You
you got your
can't-
yard, you got your septic, you got your,
Yeah,
it
see
could,
that the way Rutland's, I use the word.
I would say if that was 40,000, that wouldn't be bad, but 20,000, everyone's gonna get attacked, it's gonna affect everybody.
Cause,
Well, everybody that's building a house,
yeah,
Well, yeah,
not building houses.
whether it's building a house, or if you wanna put up a barn for horses, cows,
and we'll have to look at it,
No.
Julian, but I think there's some agriculture exceptions.
Agriculture is-
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exempt to a certain extent, but,
Yeah. Well, if it's-
I know I made
you can't build a barn
comments.
in the
already
Right,
in the state level, there's a stormwater requirement when you file a notice of intent.
Hmm.
And that's, but single-family homes are exempt.
Not
But if you
anymore.
have, not anymore, and that's,
I don't think
Yeah.
it's the worst thing in the world with
No,
all the
get rid of
weather
the
that we've been
homeowner.
having and everything. I mean, we were told that some of these storms are an act of God, and now we need to be prepared.
well, this isn't gonna fix that.
Well, it allows you to actually
Isn't there
have to
already
go.
a fee, that everybody who owns a piece of land in Rutland's already paying a stormwater fee?
That's,
that's for the
it's
cleanup.
different,
That's
it's
the industry.
unrelated.
That was like a what, wow.
$100, yeah,
But,
and now they can lien, based on the last town meeting, your property can be liened for that $100 now too.
yeah.
I don't have any more questions, Dick. There's just so much,
Okay.
I got a red line.
I only see one thing here that jumps out at me is that this is only good.
That's Holden's.
That's, yeah,
Right,
that's,
don't do
that's,
this.
that's an example of
Yeah.
a
Don't-
flow chart for
don't-
how the permits would
You
work,
have
so.
90 days to approve it,
And that was
but
not part of the packet either.
the person
so.
only gets, you got 90 days to get it
Look at that,
approved.
and just, and we're
But
not,
don't follow that. At least give the people time to be able to build the place after they get all the permitting.
we
That-
won't
that
get
should
into
be
that
3 years.
until we get this squared
The-
away.
The permits are valid for 3 years according to the rules and regs as it currently stands.
Yeah.
Again, this is Holden's chart that we are using as a potential example of a flow chart and it's not part of the rules and
But they-
regulations that we're
but
talking
here it
about.
says 1 year, so that was like, ooh,
That's Holden's, we don't have to follow that.
It's not ours,
that's gonna
Right.
be a
there's a difference.
very
Yeah.
difficult situation.
And of course,
It's gonna take a year to get some of these approved, by the way.
yeah, the other thing is, we have a great connection, if any of the board wants to talk to Dave George in Holden. He'll be, at least for me, if I've asked a question and he has the time, he'll try to answer it. So asking him, is this yours or is this something you pulled off a website and using? Or was he given it from a third party? Those are good questions, but anyhow, that's it.
Tim, Dick, if I may through the chair, I know I mentioned it before the meeting, but Seth said he's happy to come to the next meeting to talk to you about what it looks like on the back end as well, as far as, who on the staff would handle this, what that process would look like before it even made its way to the planning board. So he can come the next time to speak to that. And then if you guys have any specific questions that you'd like me to take back to Therese, I can make sure we have answers for the next meeting too. Cause ultimately your last meeting you'd have to adopt this would be December 23rd.
Yeah, Dick, this is my thought process, is that we get all the public's comments today, and then we get all of our questions ready for Therese, that we give her the information. And then, on the 23rd, we've got a complete packet that we could vote on. That's my thought. You.
So would the thought be to get those questions to a central source, like Norm or Tamika, by the next meeting so that we can address all the ones then have them all in the
Yeah.
packet and go through them?
Yeah. This is my opinion. I would probably send them to Norm and copy Tamika on them.
Okay.
And
Does
if
that
I
work for
may,
you?
Dick, that's perfectly fine. Just to reiterate that because they're rules and regulations, you guys can modify them anytime.
Oh, yeah.
So, for the sake of getting them adopted to meet the governmental requirement, but that doesn't mean you can't revisit it over the winter months and say, hey, we kind of want to tweak it a little bit.
Because these are like policies, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep, this has no affiliation with town meeting. It's just
Yep.
at the board level.
but we do have to have a hearing if we do decide to change
You
them.
do, yep, the bylaw requires that.
Okay. I just, there was so many, what's the word I'm looking for, left turns in these rules and regs that it's, the fact that that flow map's there, I'm probably gonna use that and see if I can figure out which way it was going in this, cause, and Tamika and maybe Seth can answer him if I'll give him a call tomorrow or early next week. I got the impression that the planner was gonna handle in conjunction with possibly a clerk and the building inspector. That was sort of gonna be the team.
Yes, and
handle those.
DPW as well.
And the DPW from the
Yep.
standpoint of handling the enterprise funds and stuff coming in and any other questions that come up. So it was almost not one person handling it, it was a team
Correct.
handling it.
Yep, it's a group effort.
Okay, that's what I, good,
Yeah,
good.
that's the plan.
That's what I thought, so I was glad to hear that, and if we have a clerk, depending if he's approved at town meeting, that would be at least the administrative portion that could help out that team. Okay, good. Good.
Julian, anything else?
I just see the time. If a person gets the permit and goes through the grueling part of getting the permit, they need more than 1 year to be able to get their loan to build their
Yeah, and this
house.
is in Holden, thankfully, so.
So.
Yep.
Usually it's 3 years, that's even sometimes too short, but
I would say
I would say
just,
it's good for, as long as the rules haven't changed and you didn't change your approval, didn't decide to make something bigger, then you're covered.
Yeah.
Building houses now is not like it used to be even 6, 7 years ago.
The plan is the plan.
It's, right,
There's no deviation from the
right, the
plan.
plan is the plan, so if nothing changed and the rules didn't change, why does it expire in 3 years? So, but that's just, cause this is gonna cost, for a single-family house lot, anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 in engineering. For
On top
every-
of the permit
every-
cost.
On top of the permit, just to have the piece of paper to bring to.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna take.
How do you estimate that?
How am I, what's that?
Like based on what the,
Based on
what the
experience,
requirements
this is what I
are?
do in other towns that have this. So if you come to me
Oh,
and
so
say,
you-
we got this, like Holden,
So
well,
you've already gone through this?
I've already gone through this in Holden many times.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
And it's, and I shouldn't be, I'm all for it. This is work, but it's, I don't feel it's fair on a lot of stuff. As long as it's not a way of creating a problem that, oh, you have a wetland on your property and our regulation says you can't have any stormwater near, things near 100 feet. So therefore you can't build on this piece of land you just saved all your time and money for.
What's
And
a
now you're out.
hypothetical, I mean,
And through Dick, I think
And I've
this
seen it
isn't,
happen.
this
Check
isn't,
our wetlands
this
before
isn't a
you buy it.
requirement that Mass came up with. I think this came down from the feds that pushed it to each one of the states, so every state's gone through this, it's not just Mass. And then Mass pushed it down to the
Well,
local
Mass
level.
has it already if you're within 100 feet of a wetland.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
already,
Yeah, Rutland.
this is already there, and they got the
And
rules.
we've even got 25 now, so we put
So-
25 no disturbance.
So it's, like Holden, they took this under, I would say probably 5 years ago.
Really?
And I've done quite a few of them. And what it does is a perfect example of what you're gonna see is, I didn't do this one, but it's, if you go down Quinnapoxet Road, there was some new houses built on the left going
Oh,
away.
right when you go over the
Well,
railroad
you've got,
tracks on the
you've got a
right?
puddle in the front yard,
Yeah.
the mosquito trap.
Are you talking about those two houses right past the railroad track
Yeah.
on the right? Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
not on the right, go further, on the left.
You're talking
Oh,
about the
the
nice
newer.
houses, the nice.
Beautiful homes, and they got these holes, they're called.
Those retention ponds? or-
Bio detention ponds, wetland, and all it does is grow mosquitoes, but it has a purpose,
Just have to have an old tractor that leaks oil.
but it makes,
I see.
so it is, I guess the intent is good, but it's really under the wrong hands of the reviewer, it can get very costly and really not do anything.
Just more paperwork.
It's paperwork and time, you know,
I mean,
so 90 days to review it on top of all the other permitting,
yeah,
so
just another cost.
it's a definite cost.
Yeah.
And then I saw something about a follow-up for every year, post-construction update, OMD permanent BMPs once a year to maintain, log, and inspect the maintenance fee. Who's paying for that? You know, it's another, I mean, this is just a guide, I would,
Yeah.
that one is,
My intent was to take, Tamika, what you gave us, and like I said, try to put together the flow map with what we've got
With
now.
our actual
Yeah,
information.
and if need be, if we don't have times in there, add times.
I mean, and we do, I mean, it's a 3-year permit, it's a, you know, it must act in 60 days, it's fairly detailed with times, we just need to update a flow map to, you know,
And those
See
are all
what we're-
recommendations, I think, Lauren, from, I can't think of, I'm having a brain death with the engineering firm.
Weston
Weston
Sampson?
Sampson?
Weston Sampson, yeah, from other towns, cause they use that as a template to build ours.
Might
Yeah,
need a
I
bigger
assume
piece
it's
of
fairly
paper to put it on.
standard.
I got 11 by
Tablet,
17s
yeah,
or
make
size,
it tablet size.
I say the word C size and people don't understand that.
so I guess the one thing that I can add, that if there's a way of avoiding it, in Holden, if somebody has a piece of property, like the Form A I just did, okay, if you get 2 lots, and you wanna build on 2 lots, but this lot has 14,000 square feet of altered area, and lot 2 has 12,000 square feet. You're over 20,000 square feet. Well, wait a minute, this lot, I'm under. Well, it used to be one piece, so we consider it, that's what Holden's done to a couple of my clients, which is just, wow.
Julian, this is my opinion.
So it has to be written in a way that it's per lot, not per, in state law, if you do more than 4 lots, the DEP, you
Yeah,
have
it's
to follow
stormwater
this.
management.
So if you have a piece of land and you get 3 lots, up to 4 lots, you're exempt from this, just like the 20,000 square foot under state. Now, this would say, no, it doesn't matter, you're not exempt, if you go over 20,000 square feet, you have to do stormwater. Okay, but if I have 4 lots, you're gonna make every one of those, even though they're under 20,000 square feet individually, but cumulatively, you're over this because it was one piece. That's the mentality of Holden. So I know 2 projects that,
Wow.
so the person bought the pieces, they even went as far as they bought the pieces in separate ownership.
With
Doesn't
separate
matter.
deeds?
Cause it was separate deeds, separate people. And I said, too bad.
See, I don't
So
get
that
it.
was a little bit of a grab, more than I think it was really fair. If we did our job, and we did, the first initial was, we honed that down, cause you said, you're right, 20,000 square feet. Why make it, the driveway usually is 12 feet wide, and you may have a 4-foot shoulder on both sides. Don't disturb any more than that. So we can narrow things down to try to keep the disturbance as minimal as possible, which is good design, because everyone knows when you disturb something, you gotta loam and seed it, that costs money. Cutting trees isn't fair, isn't free. Don't just go and clear cut a piece of land. We try to cut a small amount as we can, because it costs so much. But when in Rutland, I'll use Holden again, they said, no, that was one piece of land, they just subdivided it last year, so you're mandatory, you have to do stormwater for each and every one of them, even though I can stay under 20,000 square feet on each one.
I'd take that to
That's
land.
not fair.
I think I'd take that to land court, cause it's already an A&R deeds.
Fortunately,
But
what
that's 10
happens
grand
there is,
there.
there you go.
10 grand to go to land.
So if there's a way to,
You know that with the lawyers.
if it's defined as each individual lot that disturbs more than this, regardless of who owns them, I would stand behind that as like, yeah, all right. And I want to work hard to try to stay under that, which in the end helps the whole cause. Because what they're saying is, if a forested area, when it rains, this happens. When you cut the trees down, make lawns, put in driveways, the water spreads, so we gotta contain that on the property. That's fine. But now, if I did that, and just because it's part of 3 other lots, that I'll do that, I'm being penalized? So those, like I said, that cost the guy, for paperwork, 10 grand a piece.
That's good information.
And the construction, you gotta do your roof gutters with the infiltrators, you might have to do a small detention pond.
But 10 grand on a $500,000 house is 2%, if I'm doing my math right.
Well,
I mean, let's
I
be
guess you have
realistic.
more money than a lot of people that can just throw it on.
Absolutely not.
Throw it onto
That's what it's gonna take to
think
get
every
people to
penny
disturb
counts.
less land and preserve the environment around them. I'm all for it.
I agree with you, but if you do it cumulatively, and this guy did his due diligence to.
That individual, that one instance, I'm
No,
not
it's
involved.
all, it's in Holden, if you have an A and R and you have more than 3 lots together, you're doing it. Even though you bought, I only own this lot, why do I have to get penalized, cause I did my due diligence to stay under
And
20,000?
you're saying the one lot that was part of a 3 lot, even though they're not gonna disturb 20,000 feet, they're being
I had them at
penalized.
10,000,
Well, because the total lot was over 20,000.
yep.
Yeah, see that, I have a.
They grabbed all the lots that were on this project as if it was a subdivision, like a road subdivision, which we do drainage anyways.
Correct.
But A and Rs, if I follow these rules, I think this is gonna be, you're gonna see that there's a lot of sites that come in with 19,500 square feet of disturbed area, which is fine, because that's what you're looking to get, to try to minimize it. But when we divide it, this is a bad one, because this has already got a house on it, but if I came in here with 3 lots in a row, and this one was 12,000 square feet, because we've minimized it, and this one was 14,000 square feet,
Well,
now it's like too
where were
bad.
those 3 lots, was it Edson, or where was those 3 lots? Remember about 2 years ago, they were right next to each other, that were divided up, you'd be in that same situation, it was, where the heck was
Almost
that?
everything I do here is.
It was Bonnie Bessie's property, remember she broke that up into.
Oh, and Welch,
Welch, yeah,
yes.
in Welch, you'd be in that boat right now.
It absolutely would be. And then the worst part is somebody who bought that lot 5 years ago can technically, oh, that was part of a subdivision, so therefore, they disturbed this much, they disturbed this much, and now you can only disturb this much. It's like, keep it per each lot, and I think that would be the fairest thing you can do.
We have to talk about that. But this is great
And
info.
the ones that I'll put them on the table, cause it's public record, is on Salisbury Street, going towards
Oh, the
Worcester.
new- yeah, those new ones on the right
The
side.
one on the right, there's 4 of them there.
Yeah.
And we did as much as we could to keep as small a footprint as we possibly could. We submitted it and they came out of the woodwork and says, well, we see they're owned by 4 different companies, but there is one person that is part of each one of these companies, therefore.
Oh, 4 LLCs with,
Yeah,
one.
there are 4 different legitimate companies. The guy owns 10 companies and he said, well, I'll buy one each and we'll minimize it.
And somebody did their homework and found out who the president was.
Yeah, that's all they did. And it's like, down to a little bit of us, like, how can you make us do that when each lot clearly shows the square footage? Because cumulatively, it's over the 20,000 square feet. And there was no fighting it because he wants to build houses or sit in court for 5 years. That's not right, that's not how to work. So that's the only input I have on that. If it's individual for each lot, I would say, and then if it's a subdivision, and it's over 4 lots anyways, you know,
It's stormwater.
You gotta do
management.
it.
Yeah, you gotta do stormwater.
You gotta do it.
It's different than that, what this will be, it'll actually be stormwater management, which is a different set of rules.
Well, it says land disturbance, but it's the same, what we'll have to do from a civil engineering surveying end, it's the same.
And I guess I'll ask her when she's up there, since we have a bylaw specifically for that, and the state has a stormwater management for any lots over 4, I would think it'd be one or the other, but that's a question.
No, it's both. We gotta follow theirs and we gotta follow yours.
Wow.
Which is, like I said, it's still okay, as long as it doesn't become what Holden did. Holden is more stringent than the state of Massachusetts.
Wow.
Huh.
Because if you had 10 lot subdivision, well, you're stuck. Well, if state, if you're within 100 feet of a wetland, it's triggered. Because that's the mechanism. So if you have a high and dry piece of land, you don't have to do stormwater. But now with the land disturbance, you do. So if you enacted something 5 or more lots, you have to follow these.
And how stupid can that be for crying out loud? If you live in Oakham where there's gravel underneath everything, for Christ's sakes, this thing shouldn't even happen out there.
Well, it's a state
Jesus
requirement.
Christ, give me a freaking break.
It's a new industry,
Yeah.
and it's
No way to
It's a
back pocket.
trial and error
Make your
thing
money.
too. So it's very time consuming because it's got all this software that we have to put numbers in, and you gotta make it all work.
calculation.
It's just like a subdivision. When you see the subdivision, you see the big book come in.
The stormwater management
Well,
is basically.
It happens on a single family lot, which the crazy part is 20,000 square feet is such a minimal amount of impact. Used to be 5 acres, the EPA said if you disturb more than 5 acres, you need to deal with these rules. 5 acres of disturbance. Then we went to 1 acre, that's the NEPDES. Now, ½ acre.
Yeah.
And the software that we use has all been designed for 1 acre or bigger. So, oh, you didn't use the right software. Well, that software is only made for 1 acre or bigger. So we're guessing really of what it's doing, but that's a whole different
Surprised they
ballgame.
haven't had an addendum since this is a federal program.
So,
All right.
well, that's that.
We got two.
Anybody else, public need to speak?
I'm here for the next item on your agenda from the Historical Commission.
She's here for number 3. After we close the hearing.
And I support the idea of keeping stormwater on your property so you avoid what happened with Arrowhead down to those other folks. When you add roofs and driveways, that water has gotta go somewhere and it should stay on the property of the person who created the roof of the driveway. So if that's what this law and regulation does, yeah, it might make it harder to build on a piece of property, but you're protecting all the other landowners around that piece of property.
I also wanna note that ours is an acre or more, so, ours is not what shows on the Holden map, at least as it's currently written in the draft.
We don't go to a half acre, we stick at an acre.
At least in the draft, we do.
Well, yeah.
Well, I think, not to comment or go down a rabbit hole, but like if you, say you had gutters and you wanted to make them go to an internal system that kind of just dissipates on
Dry
the
well.
ground.
Yeah.
If it leaks into someone's yard, they're gonna get all huffy puffy and then you gotta dig up all your,
Well, that's, that,
I mean, so like,
the,
how do you?
the example that just came up, this doesn't,
Like-
doesn't do anything for that.
Yeah.
Because that whole project on the top of that hill was designed through an extensive
Oh, yeah.
stormwater
Yeah,
design, catching all the water and putting it in detention ponds and catch basins and this and that.
But none of that affected the individual lots.
The individual lots are taken into consideration of what's happening in that design during the subdivision. If we're designing a roadway, the individual lots are being compensated for that project.
So when you design the individual lots, you design them to be sloping to the back towards the hill that drops off.
If the hill's going that way, we don't change that. That's where the water has been going, so we let it keep going. We just regulate the speed and the amount. That's all we're doing to
How
try to
did you regulate
equalize
the
it.
speed and the amount
Detention
on the back
ponds,
there?
detention ponds, swales, flat areas.
I'm talking about the erosion off, like through the lot,
Mhm.
off of that surface, and then going down the back of the hill. What did you guys do to take that into
The
account?
detention pond that where all the water goes through was sized to collect that excess amount of water and retain it.
it's roadway.
So how did that water get from a lot that was sloping to the back of the lot and away from the street? You're saying that that water then went into the retention pond. How did it get
That
there?
water was sloping back behind the house
Close to
from 1,000,000 years ago. It's gonna continue to do the same thing.
It wasn't that way 1,000,000 years ago.
So what?
Until
We
you
didn't change
moved the dirt to create the lots
The hill,
on
the hill's
Arrowhead.
like this, and we build out the road up here, and we build it here, the house, the hill's still there. He's not gonna fill this up like this to keep the water on the site. We're just regulating, we're taking through the calculations in the software, we take a whole model and say, this is what's happening today before we do anything. And we take into consideration vegetation, whether it's trees, a hayfield, a mowed grass, a golf course, or if it's a parking lot. So we have a number. Then when we put in our new impervious areas,
That's the.
in our slopes, we figure, all right, what's happening now after we develop this with all our grades? We're not gonna, if there's water going down, I always say this, you've heard me say it 1,000,000 times, if you got water in your cellar today, before we build, you're gonna have water when it's done. It's just the way it is.
But we're talking about not having water before and then having water after it was done.
That is, if it's a storm that's not a typical storm, it's gonna happen. But for the typical storms, this is regulated through, we don't make up the regulations, what numbers they want, we just try to follow them as engineers, any engineering company. So,
Stuff where you get in the software, basically, it tells you.
right,
you
and it's a
can and can't do.
TR-55, that's the standard,
There's a
you
sta-
know,
there's a
and we
standard
got
design.
standard coefficients for different types of growth. It's a whole big that's why for a
Why the
single
book's that
family
big.
house, you're gonna spend
Yeah.
between $5,000 and $10,000 on paperwork to show that you're keeping everything within reason on your own property. So it's not foolproof. I mean, this springtime, I had a whole bunch of projects throughout the state that just got annihilated, you know, but. this is yours. I don't need that. I'll get the final one.
hearing none.
So,
I think a motion to continue it to, what's our next meeting, to make it the
December
14th?
9th.
December 9th, make a motion to continue December 9th at 6:30.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you for this.
Very much.
Thanks for the input, Julian.
Well,
You were
that's what I know.
you were the right person at the
Now we're
right
gonna
time.
do more, which is fine, but I just want it to be fair for everybody.
You're gonna need a bigger
The
building.
input, for sure.
Looks like the farm stand next door is gonna go bye-bye when the building gets bought for more engineers.
Well, all right. Let's move on to, I believe number 3, is it?
2,
2,
well, the public
excuse
hearing
me.
was unnumbered, so.
2 was the
Scenic
public
road
hearing, wasn't it?
situation.
Oh,
It is
Well,
not
no.
listed, yeah, not listed, but it's scenic,
Item 0.
scenic road violation.
Yes,
Yeah, you don't know, but
So we've had no response, that's my understanding.
there's been nothing.
Okay.
Have you guys had any and I'm talking through the
that's
chair.
it, no list.
Have you
no
had any
nothing.
response? No drawings, no nothing? Okay. I think that's,
It's been 3 weeks since it was signed for as the letter delivered.
and I apologize, I don't remember, was there a certain close of business date on there?
2 weeks from receipt of the letter, about a week ago.
All right. So I guess this is where I don't have the experience. What's our next step?
Good question, what is the next step?
We can continue to notify him, though that doesn't really seem to do anything, but the clock still runs with the fees. I mean, that meter's still ticking. What is,
That seems silly to keep it going. For
Was it?
him, yeah.
oh,
for
right,
him,
Yeah,
yeah.
Just seems
Um,
odd.
through the chair, does historical have any input? Is it historic or historical?
Historical Commission.
Okay, historical.
We want it to be paid, and we're not sure how you enforce it, but we want it enforced.
Has anything been done? Has anybody been by it to see if they added the 5 feet?
I went by it, I didn't take out a tape measure, it looked closer,
did.
for sure. I don't know about the smaller stones and all that they had asked for, but I thought it looked closer.
Okay.
But I can't confirm, I'm not the developer, and I can't speak to what he may or may not have done.
And I guess maybe what I would suggest, Dick, is, as Tamika's helpful, is send a letter to Clee and ask him status of project. And that's all we can do. And if he hasn't done any, because we can't, these guys can't be advised to look at it. We can't be advised to look at it until we get some notification.
And I do believe it was in the letter that was sent to him that he was supposed to send us drawings of.
Yep, a copy of the letter is in your packet.
Yeah.
Revised plot plan showing that photographs of the work once completed. I was
Yeah.
wondering, one of the lines in the letter says, if you don't do this, this may result in additional enforcement action as permitted under the Scenic Road Bylaw. What additional enforcement action are we
Yeah, I don't know.
permitted? Under
I
that
think it's just
bylaw.
fines and that's it.
It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if I may, the board had voted to put that language in because at the last meeting you were not prepared to charge him the fines. And so you said to leave it open-ended, and then if there still wasn't a resolution by now, then you would move forward with the fines.
So do I have to make a motion that we move forward with the fines?
I
Do we
mean,
include it in everything?
It says, please be advised that the fines continue to accumulate, so I mean,
I would say then
they've been accumulating
should be,
since, I don't know, September 1st?
I would
It
think,
was since the destruction of the wall, way back in July. It was like the very end of June,
Well,
beginning of July.
The letter that, or at least the email, sorry, that was sent in August, said, yo, $300 for the violation, and the timeline for completing this stuff
September.
is September 1st. It's a violation to fail to perform timely, so subject to a fine of $300 for each week the violation exists. So, I mean, I guess you could
from
parse that a little bit, but I would assume that September 1st is
When everything
the
begins.
latest that we would
That's
begin
the
to
begin.
be charging.
Correct.
I mean, I think the bylaw though, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the bylaw stated that the fine started when the infraction occurred. That was my understanding.
It may be when we notified him that the infraction had occurred, but
Something like
again,
that,
I'm
you'd
not
have to
from
ask
that
the
bylaw.
town council to.
Yeah, town
Very-
council. But my point is, I will guess I would get another letter to him, and if need be, if that doesn't work, we're gonna need town council involved in this to get a letter. That's my opinion. Cause there's only a point so much that the historical commission and the planning board can do, and then sending continued letters isn't gonna fix anything. We need to have a,
Put a lien on the property.
I was gonna say, what's happening on the lot? Are they building
They are.
something
They've
there?
built the house. It's
if it's sold, I'm not gonna, me personally, I wouldn't wanna put a lien on somebody's
No.
house.
No, you put it on now before it's sold. You put it on now before he sells it.
But do you know that if it usually I thought Clea did not build houses unless it was sold.
Correct. Well, the question, we'd have to ask, that
Well,
would be.
usually you buy your house after it's built though, like if they haven't closed yet, you put the lien on it before they close.
And if we were to do this now before they're finished building, then the homeowner can go to the developer and say, this is an issue that you caused, fix it. Whereas if we discuss this after it's sold and before and after they've moved in and we go, oh, this is a problem, that's a real issue for them, but it's also an issue for him because now he's selling people lots with all these issues. But I think if we handle this now, we can get ahead of it so that he'll want to take care of that so that he can get his
Henceforth,
Carrot at the end of the stick.
I'm saying right now,
Legal counsel.
legal counsel better come in on this, because if I was the person that had bought the house and Clea had started it, and I would not want to get a fine on something like that. I'd turn around and
I guess through the chair, I think
bail ass out of town.
we don't have a planner, so the planner would get in touch with Seth and say, we need legal counsel to review this. And then the planner would ask, what are you want me to ask? So I guess we need to form the questions that we need to ask legal counsel. And me personally, it's simple. Can we put a lien on a piece of property because of violations? Now, the thing that's gotta come up is you can't go, and this is my experience, you can't go to the registry of deeds and put a lien on a house unless you have a number. You can't just go down and say it's open-ended. So there's gotta be a number you use to put that lien on. You just can't say, you know what, it's,
There's a property there that you put a lien on the property.
yeah, but you gotta have a number.
What's the address?
No, he's saying as far as a fine number, I believe.
Yeah, you can't just go to the registry of deeds and give it, say we're putting a lien on the property, because they're gonna say, well, what's the amount?
$300 a week increasing every week.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. They won't do that. They want a number, because they have to physically put a number on a
Okay,
piece
so
of
we
property.
I can go back to when I took a picture of the violation. I think it should be from the date of the violation as stated in the law and until right now. And I agree that we need to bring this to town council before we put a lien on somebody's house. However, I disagree vehemently that we are the bad guy. The developer was notified of this issue months ago and chose to ignore it. That is not on us, that is on him. We cannot be intimidated into not doing something and holding people accountable. It's the same thing with the snow plowing. Just because this developer is doing something wrong and it could blow back on the future resident does not mean that we cannot do what is right. We have to do what is right, and then the repercussions will go where they may. But we have to do what is right by the law, by all the people in town. Everyone else is held to the same standard.
Henceforth, town council.
If I may through Dick, if the board would be comfortable making a motion allowing me to speak to Seth to get his permission and then reaching out to town council, I feel confident that I understand what you guys are looking for an answer on. I do think it'll be up to us, the board, to determine what the start date is so we can accurately calculate what that fee would be. But if you're comfortable with that, I'm happy to help facilitate it.
Just keep Norm in the loop, is the only thing I would say.
Yes,
Because I agree with what Alec's saying, but when Lauren read that letter, just from all the depositions and work I've done from the legal side, I don't know with that letter saying that that we informed and we're expecting from September 1st on, I don't know how that's gonna hold. And again, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
I would make sure that when we go to town council, that they look at that, they look at the date of violation that you have, Alex, which, let's say it's July 11th, just pick a number. And then that letter, tell us what we can do for a fine.
Mhm.
That's the support we're gonna need, because without that from legal counsel, it's your opinion, it's what is in the letter that was written, I think.
We do have correspondence between him and Delia going back, between the developer and Delia going back to, I wanna say the beginning of August.
Mhm.
Where I can tell you that there is knowledge of what's going on at that point. I will try and round that up. I'll round up the first picture I have of the wall being destroyed. I'll send that all in to Tamika at some point over this holiday.
Michelle, do you guys have anything on your end that can be filtered to Tamika for legal counsel? Do you know of anything, like if you've got any letters or anything that you sent to Clea indicating that there's been an issue on a historical scenic road or anything like that? I'm just asking.
I think we did it through you.
Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure that all the documentation was getting funneled
Yeah.
to legal counsel.
I think we did it through you.
Okay.
We didn't do anything directly with them.
Okay, great.
I just
I
got a
agree
short
that
comment too.
That's what should happen.
If you got a moment, and I'd ask to be corrected if not, but Tamika, you would know, did he pay $300 initially?
Yes, so
Yes.
the
So-
bylaw stipulates that you pay $300 for the initial violation.
Just the
and
act
then-
of it?
Correct, so he
Yeah.
paid that $300, but there have been no payments received for the subsequent weekly fine.
Was that the email thread where he asked if we wanted a blank check?
Yes,
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was the 53G.
no, you're correct, that's a 53.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a different,
The email thread in that case was he basically said, I've done what I'm gonna do, this should be good enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder, do we ask someone to explain to him that there's something else besides, part A and part B? Obviously, he's ignoring part B, so
can
does.
listen to these.
I assume he can read the bylaw, it's on the
Yeah,
website.
well, that's what I'm
Have a
saying.
lawyer.
Have a lawyer explain it, possibly in this letter that someone's gonna draft that says, hey, it wasn't just the 300.
Well, I mean, I
Keep in
think
mind these other
That
fees.
letter
the
that-
email from August says,
Yeah,
this is what we need you to do, this is the timeline, it's a
Yeah.
violation of the
Yeah.
bylaw to not do this, and we're gonna fine $300 each week that you don't do this.
until you give us the paperwork that says
Right,
this
until
is
you
what the
do what we
fix is.
told you you needed to do.
Yeah,
What kind of
so,
clarity you're looking for?
yeah, well, I'm just saying, he's definitely going like, I gave you $300, see you later. It's obvious,
Well, then-
so
Okay.
who's gonna be
Perhaps
the
he needs
one to
better
tell
counsel.
him, if someone can word it so he knows that it's not
I'm
just
hoping
$300.
advice from legal counsel gives you enough
And I
documentation.
know it's in a letter, but something that's,
Well, again, legal counsel should see that letter,
yeah,
should have Alex's dates, and then the thread that Delia sent back and forth. All that should be the documents that go to legal counsel as a package.
Mhm.
And then the question should be, with the cost, let me rephrase, the planning board is suggesting a lien against the property. Where do we start? And give us, we can do math from the date, but where do we start? And what is legally correct to do? That's what me personally, that's what I'm looking for.
I
Yeah.
was just thinking too, what about a cease and desist and have them stop building?
That'll have to go through Harold. All we can do is suggest, we don't get that, and,
Cause it's an A&R, I think that's accurate.
yeah,
Challenge is, I know Harold has said that
that's a
even if he
tough,
gets a request to do it, he's bound by the building code, so if he's not violating the building code, he can't issue a cease and desist, and like Alex said, it's an A&R lot, so there are no conditions associated with it.
correct.
Yeah.
I think the best is to get legal counsel involved and get an answer,
Yeah.
send a letter. And Tamika, that's something, again, through Dick, what
Yeah.
my thought process, it doesn't hurt to ask legal counsel if they got a template for us. I mean, by God, those law firms have templates for everything.
So I'd like to make a motion that we have Tamika reach out to Seth on behalf of the board to, and keeping Norm in the chairman as well in the loop, figuring out what our course of action can be for these fines, and going forward with this particular case, what we should do at this point going forward to ensure that we are covering our bases when it comes to this fine and potential lien.
I like that, because there might be something that legal counsel, I'll shut up, I'll second it.
Yeah,
Get the discussion, sorry. You got a
Okay.
discussion then.
Yeah. Second, and what you did, okay.
Alex, I like that, because legal counsel might come back and say there's another option instead of a lien that's more effective. And so.
I'm not the brightest guy in the room. I mean, they're the
Well, no,
lawyers.
that's why we need to go to a legal counsel, like Dick said, to find out what options we do have, because we just thought of lien, but there might be something else that's out there that we don't know about.
Right.
That could be,
I
that,
got lucky when I worded that.
Something that, something that George Kurtzy understands, you know.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, cause the letter,
Like, okay, we have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Or we have to respond.
Yeah.
At this point, we're at that stage.
like I
Oh.
said,
But yes.
I don't have anything else.
Any other
we can
comments before we take a
or-
vote?
Yeah, no other comment.
Okay, let's vote on this.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Pardon me real quick.
But Dick, I think I would also, just to keep the communication open, I would have Tamika send a letter to, I keep saying Clea, it should be Blair Development, asking for status. We have heard nothing since the letter was sent. Please send us status on what's going on. That way we
Yeah.
keep the paper trail going, and we're still, I guess,
We're
driving
still
the
trying
bus.
to communicate and
Yeah.
and get this thing resolved
Yeah.
properly.
And would it be possible to keep the historical commission in the loop with Peter, maybe Peter Purser, who's our chair?
CC the chairman is what I would do.
That way he can get distributed to you guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Want this done. This is such a little nap. It's such a little nap. It's just been taken care of.
Number 3,
That's three.
citizen petition, special town
Street
meeting.
acceptances.
I would say, please, from the board's perspective, watch the select board last night. I don't wanna go into the details. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. Norm and I were trying to explain how this subdivision regs work with minor, major modifications. There was discussion about waivers. The biggest thing we've gotta get, and because the select board didn't have it, is because there was no verbal on that video, is between Keith and
Minutes,
Tamika, we
it's-
gotta get those minutes done.
Yeah, okay.
Because without them, we basically, and this is my opinion, I'm just putting this out to the board, Norm and I talked about it last night, is that we literally are gonna have to recreate that meeting if we can't get some type of documentation of what went on and agreements.
I know Tamika made a generic memo to kind of
Oh, yeah, this is what-
summarize.
We were trying to get,
Tim, if it makes it easier,
know
you
it's
guys can
not.
just make new motions, since this is a different
I can't
street
remember what I
acceptance
did, that's the
request.
problem.
We can figure it out.
For the most part, it was, the trees would be extended out into May. Any areas that didn't have grass would be extended out into May.
Did
The
we do a-
signpost had to be changed. The fire hydrant might have still been on the list.
No, that was
It was
already.
Chris's list, there was a big, we basically said, you can't move forward, or let me
Right.
rephrase that. We will not give an acceptance to the select board unless all of these tasks on Chris's list were resolved by close of business of Friday.
But I mean, I came in the next meeting and said I had voted incorrectly, and I still stand by that. I think if it was not done by the time of our meeting, everything is not in order, the ducks are not in a row. Do not press go, or pass go, don't collect $200. It's a very stringent thing that we have to employ with these deadlines and making sure everyone follows everything. Otherwise, when you let one person get away, I learned this in a rehab, you let one person get away with it, everyone else is gonna want the same thing. You give one person a cigarette outside cigarette break, they all want a cigarette. And you gotta focus on making sure you follow what we're supposed to. And from my understanding, if everything was not done and presented to us in a checklist at that point, we're moving forward. And
And that's, I understand what you're saying, but the reason I was more apt to go with giving them until Friday is because the residents have been living up there with no town services and been paying taxes, some of them for 4 years. So this is me personally, I was tempering, yes, things were late, I wasn't happy. I was, because this was known about in the spring, it could have been handled in the summertime. It's last minute,
yeah.
but on the flip side, if it gets handled before wintertime, the residents can at least have some coverage from the town during the wintertime, if everything was correct. When I say correct, road was built right, Chris was happy, and we didn't have any outstanding items. Some of these punch list items that came up.
But how do we get past the trees? Because I'm with you. I feel for the residents of those developments, absolutely, 100%. And when they come with their concerns about their kids and snow removal and access to emergency services, my heart breaks for them. But that is really on the developer, not on us at all. But I do agree that if those things would have been checked, we could have still proceeded. But how do we rectify the trees that need to be put in next year with a developer who's refusing to replenish 53G accounts, who's not paying for all this stuff, and yet we think he's going to?
She had a little thing underneath there.
Yeah, Thaddeus had just asked earlier if the audio was working on Zoom, and so she was just replying that she could hear on Zoom.
Okay,
That's all
thanks,
it was.
Leah.
Yeah.
Thanks, because
She said something that was soft, I couldn't read it fast enough there.
Yeah, the volume earlier, but I think they resolved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just feels like quite the leap of faith, given everything that at least I've been here for the last 7-8 months, maybe a year, from when I was an apprentice or whatever we call it, associate.
And I think that's based on these 6 points that the select board sent to the planning board. I think we need to discuss those tonight, because there's some items that I can't remember. And Dick, first off, this first one says document a formal waiver. That is not correct, because a waiver is saying that nothing has to be done. We're saying, if we would waive the trees, we would say, you don't need trees.
Tim, if I may, I wrote it that way. What it meant was that we create essentially a memo that
Yes.
says, the planning board voted this on this date for a waiver to put it in the file. Cause I've been looking through the files lately when information need to be found.
Yeah.
And they're not great. And so if we have because to think that you would have to know which set of meeting minutes to go back to try to find when a
No.
waiver was granted, that's all that means is documentation, is that there's something to write down to
and
put in the
that's-
file.
That's where Norm was talking about, like a minor modifications, which is documentation that would go with the project, basically go in the project folder. Not in some meeting minutes, but this,
This should go in the project folder too, from a staff perspective. If we have a new planner 3 years from now,
yeah,
they're never gonna know. I should look at the October 14th, 2025 meeting minutes to see if they waived it. So in other words, you would just have the staff put it into a memo and then stick it in the file to say, on this date, the board waived this requirement. So if 10 years from now, someone says, I never got a tree, you can say, well, they waived it on this date.
yeah, and see, that's why I wanted to get away from the word waiver, and be more of like Norman said, a minor modification to the subdivision. I'm having a brain death, a subdivision,
Conditions.
no, give me, the last thing we approved, we got preliminary, definitive. Have a minor modification to the definitive plan, because that, when you do a minor modification, you're basically saying, yes, trees are going in, but if 17 trees go in and 15 don't, we're getting $1,500. If we do a waiver's indicating that we're basically saying that he doesn't have to put trees in. I don't agree with that. I think trees should go in, And if they can't, like, we spoke to a resident last night, she's like, I sent him an email, and this is on Pioneer Circle, I don't want trees on my property. And I'm going, but I have to put one every 100, 150 feet. She goes, I sent an email to developer that don't even come put them on my property. And I'm like, okay, so now that's pushed one tree into the, we can't put it there. So that's why I was thinking that some of these, and again, I understand the word waiver. I think we should do minor modifications to the definitive plan conditions that are in the back. So where it says trees, we'd make a minor modification saying, I'm just throwing a number out there, 32 trees on Bryce Lemon Phase 4. Well, the minor modification would say that there'll be 17 trees planted. Any trees that aren't planted above 17 will be paid for at $100 a piece, up till 32 trees are paid for or planted.
So I have a question. Beyond what constitutes minor and major, my question, I thought we agreed that the trees should be planted in accordance with the plan that was accepted and approved for that development, because that was a covenant between the town and the developer that predated anyone owning any of those new individual lots.
But when they own the lot, it's their right.
What we
right.
decided was that he was supposed to offer any
Yes.
unplanted trees to current residents, document that in some way, presumably, and for any extra, you know, say somebody say, I'll take 5, and so now we're at 22, then
Yeah.
those other 10 are $100 a tree to
Yeah, well, that's.
somewhere. I don't know if we define that, but that's the agreement, at least for Arrowhead. I honestly can't remember if we did that at the same for each one, because there was some discussion around kind of just how much space there is in some of those other ones, and, you know, but that was what we said. I guess the question is, if we put that in the definitive plan as a minor modification, how do we have him agree to that? Like, what's the agreement
It'd be a
process?
signed
'Cause he's
memo.
got us-
It'd be a
okay.
signed memo from him for the minor modification.
Okay.
And then that would go in under where the conditions are in the back.
Mhm.
That would go, like, the condition says 32 trees in phase 2.
Right.
The minor modification would go below that, indicating that there is condition, and here's the modification to that condition as a minor modification. And typically minors are small, and this is the definition I've lived by, small changes. If you wanna change the length, size, road, or the housing count, that's a major modification.
Right.
And with a major modification, and you guys can tell me if you know this and I'll just shut up, but you gotta go through the whole definitive plan all over again, which is hearings, which is reviews, which is the whole 9 yards. So typically, most developers, any developer tries to stay away from the major ones and live to the plan. But there are things that come up during development that,
Okay.
and again, I just remember the first part of, and this was 3-4 years ago, where his guys were going around putting trees on one of the cul-de-sacs in Bryce Lemon, and a gentleman came out of his house with a shotgun, said, "Get off my property."
Did he
Take
tell
that
them
tree."
it was coming ahead of time or anything? Like, I find it hard
And I
to
will
believe
say,
anyone would
the
pull a
other
gun
thing
on
that we
him, but-
discussed is the idea that the tree
Condition.
planting will have to happen
Get you in a lot of
before
trouble.
lots are sold, or before, like, there was some, like, to get around that kind of issue.
Yeah.
You know, if they cut them down, they cut them down, but they need to be planted before essentially homeowners can say, no, I don't want them, because they're not
See,
part of
that's
your
a-
home, they're part of the subdivision.
And
That's the problem, you can't, when you're trying to build a house and all that, you're gonna ruin those trees, you know, running equipment in there.
My
Yeah.
only comment is that this is gonna continue to happen because the roads are accepted after these homes are sold, and he's gonna plant them last, and it's just silly, like, you're using this a lot today.
We've been having this
Just-
problem
just gotta
right
put 'em-
along from day one.
Yeah, yeah,
And Lenny
I
Gingle
agree.
was just as bad as what,
And it just turns around and creates,
So-
it's a headache, it's
And
too
that's
much
the push, Keith,
extra
why,
thought, why.
to Alex's point, this acceptance has to start months in advance, not 4 weeks. So, and I think with this,
And even the completion of
yeah,
the punch list's gotta be,
Well, the punch lists don't get started until the acceptance process starts. That's the problem, is you
Yeah.
can't start a punch list until
Yeah,
the request
because you need
comes
the
in.
engineer to come in for a reason, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so
So-
that's why with this,
How do we-
this, road acceptance policy that the town has now, there's defined dates. And that's tied, if I'm not wrong, Tamika, to laying out of the ways. It's a
That's
whole
correct.
process.
So the three street requests before you were laid out and referred to the planning board back in April.
No, I'm saying going forward for the next round, there's a whole timetable from that.
No, there is, and we happened to follow it, even though it wasn't applicable to that particular policy because of when we
Yep.
received it. So we did start that process 6 months in advance.
I just think going forward with that policy in place and that timeline, that, the developer has to come to us and then say, you know, I'm getting ready to do this, and then he or she has to go to the select board and say, here's when I've started it, I wanna lay the ways out, which is an official letter from their attorney or whoever to do that. But I think that policy that Dave George started many moons ago, and then John worked with the select board to finally get laid out, is good policy. We're just, with these roads, we're caught in between them right now. Cause the three roads we're talking about weren't affected by, or weren't under effect of that policy. Lindsay Lane was the only one that was
Right.
basically affected, and it went through the process and was approved at town meeting, so. I just think that this is a very, we just gotta work through this.
I mean,
Okay.
and how do you, I don't mean to interrupt.
No,
How do you get past, it would be nice to hear from Leah too, if they
She's got her hand
liked,
up.
yes, just another question to add to it. Did they like how the timeline played out? Did it work?
No, it didn't work.
So I mean.
I'll let
does-
Leah say that, but I
Yeah.
agree, I'm gonna agree with her, it didn't work.
Yeah, so I mean, even with the 6 months, what is it, I mean, what do we have to, are we ready to adjust it, or we wanna wait and see? I mean, in this,
6 month is right, the problem is I get the developer to show up for the 6 months.
Yeah.
That's the key.
yeah, okay.
That's
I'll let
not on
Leah talk,
us.
cause that's the one thing I agreed with her is the select board last night said, listen, we informed them back in the Springtown meeting to get on it and waited to
It
the last
still
minute.
was like the old days.
Yeah.
And this
where it's
is,
last minute.
he kept telling us, I believe, even this year, that he was ready for last town meeting and everything like that, so it's hard to believe when he
Yeah.
comes and goes, it's done, or I will do this, it's, boy cried wolf.
All right, Leah, please,
Thank you, can you hear me?
yes.
All right, sorry, I just wanted to reiterate, Tamika said it, you guys alluded to it, but we were in receipt of these 4 roads, the Lindsay Lane and then these 3 additionals, before the Springtown meeting. It was the middle of April, I forget the date exactly, that we transmitted to planning board the intent to lay out the ways. So that process has been started for a long time. And in that meeting, we had the discussion of doing it this way allows the spring and summer and early fall, the time for construction to really get through the punch list, figure out what's outstanding. I was going back through my emails last night, and there was talk about these roads wanting to come before last fall's special town meeting. So the fact that they have been kind of talked about for over a year and being approved, to me, is just lack of prioritizing the work that needs to be done. And we have those dates. So I think the whole, it's not, they were all received at the same time. They all had the same process through this. So I just want to reiterate what was said last night at the meeting, as well as what you guys just said.
Yeah, and Leah, through the chair, I believe that your road acceptance policy is lenient enough for future roads that there'll be plenty of time for any developer to get in, get the process done, get the punch list from our engineer at the time, get it solved, and get any issues worked out before we're doing the road acceptance
Yeah.
to the select board from the planning board. I looked over your road acceptance policy, and I personally like it. It's just, we gotta get the developers, and that could be anyone from 3 or 4 in town, to make sure that they adhere to that.
See, henceforth, I think that's why I ask for business meetings and you never get them.
Well, the other, Leah, this is something else that was brought up last night, and I haven't had a chance to check into it. Is that, and Tamika might be able to help too, that road acceptance policy, is that enforced by the select board and not the planning board, if I'm not mistaken? Is that correct? Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. So the onus would be on the select board to enforce that. Our enforcement would be, listen, we want them in 6 months prior so we can get, and I'm using Kevin right now, Kevin Quinn, to go out there and put the punch list together, because Dick and I were on the board where a road came in with 99 issues on it. And that was ridiculously crazy that we spent any time looking that over, because it was not ready to come to us.
Right.
And I'm not putting any names, I'm just saying that was an example of, I never wanna ever see that come before this board ever again, and it hasn't. But something like that, to Leah's point, I guess last fall they weren't ready. This spring they weren't ready, so now they're ready now, so.
Henceforth, this is one reason why we need that freaking business meeting for Noble Hill. I wanna go over that thing with a fine tooth comb
Yeah.
before anything happens.
We also, I know I'm getting off topic, but we, yeah, I won't
That's
bring
all
that
right.
up. I mean, we need to get through these 6 tonight before it gets too late.
So here's a question that I have, and this is number 4 about the funds necessary in the subdivision accounts that have essentially gone unanswered. Well, we got kind of a snarky reply, but then we got no reply. And then we got a lot from his lawyer. How can we move forward with any of this if there isn't enough money in the accounts to pay for things that have already been expended?
That's the struggle I had last
Like,
night.
if that's a stumbling block, then who cares about the trees? Like, if it can't go forward because we can't pay the bills related to these subdivisions, then it kind of feels like it just ends there.
Doesn't Kevin have to go out and inspect again that these things that we're good?
I don't, I mean, I guess we could have him do that, but if we don't have money to pay him, I'm not sure.
Wait,
Well,
no, inspect again which things?
The punch list items, when he said,
The October 7th, they had to be done by October
Right.
17th. I think we got a response to those as well as the
From DPW.
DPW and the
Yeah, of
fire
course.
hydrant and whatnot.
Okay.
I believe before our meeting, but after the packet maybe, we got some information that was like, oh, these things were done, or there was some kind of cross. So I actually think that other than the things that we are waiving, memoing, I think they were done. We could confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that they
These
were.
punch list items, Lauren, is what I was, these were the items that came up last night that
Right,
I wanted to
exactly.
verify, that the memo, about the trees, getting that documented, like Tamika said.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, and that's why I need to look at those minutes. Did we do a formal waiver on the granite curbs on Arrowhead, Woodside, and Pioneer Circle? I'm gonna say Lindsay too, but Lindsay's already accepted, so, but I'd still like to see that. I can't remember.
We didn't, I mean,
sure
we
we
said that it was fine, cause that's what the DPW director wants. There was obviously
Yeah,
I
a
didn't
lot of
realize there was
discussion around
granite in
it.
the other parts of it.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was part of it, cause we're, you.
I brought it up
Tamika-
multiple
Oh, no,
times.
she weren't at that meeting, but you brought up a different one where, people who bought, looking at the other parts of it, bought their lot and thought, oh, mine's gonna look like this too.
Right.
And now it doesn't.
Well, that was my,
Um,
Lauren, that was my problem, is
Right.
that I had
Maybe
a
it was-
subdivision
yeah.
that
Maybe different
has
curbs.
asphalt
Right,
on
yeah.
one side and granite on the other.
But we did say, if that's what the DPW director says, I mean, again, we didn't make any formal anything, as far as I know.
Well, that's where I
But-
think we do tonight.
Right,
Um,
but again, if we can't move forward because there isn't enough money, then the trees and the granite, it doesn't matter.
Right,
We
because
can't
if there's not
positively
money
recommend, so.
And we accept it, then we're on the hook for all that money.
What I wanted, and this was my opinion after last night, I wanted to get all of our ducks in a row with our documentation. And then if the money's the holdup, the money's the holdup. We can't do anything about that. All we can do is say, We can't move forward until the bills are paid, but at least we got our house in order from the planning board's perspective. That's what I wanted to do from last night,
get as
because
much
I felt
done
our
as
house
we can.
wasn't completely in order, and I wanted to get that house in order. We can't do anything about forcing somebody to pay, other than saying that until it's paid, party ain't going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion, but I mean,
Sure.
I think the agreement with the trees, we need to get squared away.
I also, I mean, I think $100 is a kind of a number pulled out of thin air. I just Googled it and it says from 1 to 400.
I think that was
Then you-
his number.
Right, and then,
Well, I
and then
threw
you
it out.
throw in labor and everything else that he would need in planting those trees, and I mean, he's kinda getting a great deal by not planting trees.
Well,
I just don't like the process, how it's gonna be like this every time. Oh, I sold
Well-
my whole subdivision, oh, I didn't put trees in,
Right, here's,
oh, no
here's
one wants my
$3,000
trees, cause they
or-
all.
And
Well,
henceforth, that's why I
Right,
wanted a
the process
business
is
meeting,
grinding.
because
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Noble
gonna,
Hill,
it's
if that's got,
very repetitive.
if that's gonna happen in Noble Hill, I wanna see if maybe we ought to remove it or have something different done about it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But we need to jump on it
There was
before it
a
happens.
bunch of phases, you said it got every 500 feet, it
Yeah.
had to be
yeah, well,
completed before you.
the only reason I was pushing this is because I wanted to get over the hump. I mean, we can
No, I
sit and discuss that.
understand. Yeah,
I don't
no, I
think this is
understand.
setting a precedent, because if we do a minor modification, it's to that subdivision. It's specific to Bryce Lemon. It's not saying we're changing our subdivision regs to say, you can pay us $100 and you get off the hook, cause I agree with you, Keith. That ain't the answer.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but to move this forward, and again, I think I heard one lady on Arrowhead that said, I'll take 5 trees.
Right,
And if that takes care of the 17 or 18 inch, I'm good with that, cause at least we're getting trees back on the land. I'm good.
Does having the trees and that sort of environmental stabilization, does that fall into the engineering package for the development, or is that solely outside of our purview? Do we,
I mean, I
do
think
we know it all?
I think these trees are
They're small.
for looks. I mean,
Okay.
you know what I mean, like they're not,
they're in the
not
front typically,
stabilized,
that's why.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
they're not.
Right.
Yeah, and typically,
They're
sure if they're all
shade
played together,
trees.
yeah.
they're a half inch. It'll be 20 years before they even get to be a point
Yeah.
of anything useful, but again, we can't.
We had to change,
Yeah,
the type of tree too.
yeah, we had to change the tribe because
Yeah.
Brunel West, we had the monster coming out from underneath the sidewalks, eating sidewalks, because the roots were not deep, they were shallow, and they went
Yeah.
sideways,
Yeah.
and the sidewalk just came right up. So we've changed that, but my point is that I'd like to get to, and if that's something that we, I guess what I'm looking for is for, and this is my opinion through
Yeah,
Dick,
go
is
ahead.
that, I don't remember the numbers, and that's why I wanted to, I think we had the exact numbers at the last meeting. I just don't remember them, and get that into a formal minor modification.
I think it's in Kevin's memo. If you look
Yeah.
up the online packet for October 14th, it should be in Kevin's memo. I think he referenced exactly the number
Yeah,
of
we
trees.
were looking at those at that meeting,
Each road
definitely,
has-
Which
exact
was it?
That
numbers.
would have been the October 14th packet.
Got it right here, here's the packet. Motions, no, that's John Turner. This is what I need to send to somebody, I'm glad, thank you, Tamika, I've been looking for this letter and I couldn't find it, October 14th.
There you go.
Redact. Soil testing report, Yankee. It's all good. Here it is. This is Bryce Lemon Pioneer Circle. Let me see, stop signs, blah, blah, blah. Street trees, plan calls for 26 trees, 9 installed, so we could do this probably street by street, so that'd be 15 or 17 trees. That have to be either,
So which street was that?
Pioneer.
Pioneer Circle. And that's one of the ones that's up for,
So only like a third of the trees were actually planted?
yes,
Because of space or because of owner disinterest or
I
both?
thought there was a lot of.
disinterest,
Cause
yeah.
I know there was some discussion about how like,
Yeah.
yeah, it says every 50 feet, but it's poorly, like, the spacing gets weird and there was kind of that too. It just, okay.
I know when I spoke to M last night, who was from Pioneer Circle. She had said a lot of residents didn't want trees in the front yard. So again, I don't wanna speak for the entire Pioneer Circle, that was her opinion, but I
Is there
have,
any way to know what these people are given as a representation when they buy their house as far as
Well, they
the
think it's
HOA
like-
taking care of the roads, how long that development's gonna be in
that's
process,
what they have attorney for.
trees, all that kind of stuff?
That's what they have.
Yeah.
I've been in this argument multiple times with people. You have attorney representing you when you buy a piece of property. If you, and this is again, my opinion,
You don't
I did this when I bought a
ask
piece of
any
property.
questions.
You need to ask the questions, you need to have your attorney who has that specific knowledge to be there to ask those questions. Because I just, I mean, I'm sorry, that's why you hire an attorney in Massachusetts, to be able to understand your deed and what you're getting.
Ask what will happen to plowing your street if the trees don't get planted.
Yeah.
Well, and for example, if you pretend you bought a house from this place, from the subdivision, would your lawyer give you the conditions of the subdivision and you would see, oh, I'm getting a tree, maybe I'll cut it down, maybe I'll keep it, but to say like, you can't put one on my property, it's just like, yeah, we can have that argument, it's just,
The other
Just
thing
put-
that
just
we don't
cut it
see
down.
is.
They don't know what the, maybe they have such a view that they want the view,
Oh,
but
I
the tree
know.
grows up,
The
it's
view
gonna
is
be enormous.
the view is across the street, I mean,
But you don't know, I mean,
yeah, I get it.
so,
So we gotta, I mean, it's that long story of let's play around with the subdivision regulations,
Yeah.
but it's just, put them in the backyard, then you get one in your backyard, you don't want it in the front yard,
Well,
it goes in
the
back.
reason they put them
You
where
know.
they put them is it's the right of way, which you can put them.
mhm.
Once you cross on the other side of the sidewalk, that's their property.
No, I know, but if all this happened long before they own the property, then there's no,
Hypothetically speaking, could he plant them before they close? You know, everything's finished, they're ready to move in, but he plants them before they close and then it's a
Yeah.
I mean,
non-issue.
that could be a requirement.
Sneaks in the day before and throws some trees in the
Yeah,
ground.
it just, there seems to always be a,
Yeah,
it may be
I mean, I
even
think-
better for kind of, if we had them in the open space. If there's open space to plant the trees
put it
in
back
there,
into a forest
or
there.
back in the forest.
Yeah.
I
But
think,
that's all the, Laura, that's all the subdivision regs that we've been wanting to dissect and go into for so long,
I was
cause
gonna say, I mean, I think for these
we need to focus on.
roads,
We're not gonna get all of it.
I think we're kind of at the point where unless the residents want them, we're not getting more trees planted, like,
Yeah,
I don't like it, but I think that's where we are with these, but I do think we need to look back and say, can we require them to go in earlier? Can we require them to be planted elsewhere? Like, how else can we actually get the trees in the ground and not incentivize someone to say that the residents don't want them and then cut us a check for,
yeah.
know. $800 or whatever. So, that's my,
You know, or even this, like, doesn't have to be a tree that's gonna grow 60 feet, you know, cause that, I get it. You know, can we just hone in on a tree that's gonna stay in a certain range? You know, instead of saying any, you know, pick the 6 trees that are indigenous to this area or something. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like, I get it if you don't want a Norwegian maple, maybe plant it right in your front yard or something.
I just think for this perspective to move forward,
Yeah, no, I
Is
get it.
that-
Yeah,
the written and assigned agreement that the select board's asking between the planning board and Mr. Blair for donation in lieu of planting trees. I think we should make a motion for each one of the 3 roads that are up
sure.
and say that as of, I think we said May 30th or May 15th, I forget what the date was, that he will attempt to, on Pioneer Circle, plant 17 more trees by speaking to the residents. If the residents don't take any of those 17 trees, in lieu of those 17 being planted, the planning board will be cut a check for $1,700. That can be, and that's where I get struggling. We can put that into the agricultural
Land preservation
land
fund.
preservation fund.
are we gonna specify any kind of documentation of offering these trees to the residents? Or are we just
I know, you can just
trusting
make it
that
up.
he asked them?
Just make
And
it
what
up.
about the price per tree? I mean, that's
I'm not,
Something I don't think anyone's really looked into, other than a quick Google search that says we're on the very low end.
yeah, but from the perspective of the developer, and again, I'm not defending him, I'm
Buy in
saying,
bulk.
you buy them in bulk, you can get, and these trees are a half inch or an inch thick, so they, me personally,
And he
when I
said
buy
he
a
gets them
tree,
$100 a tree, so let's
Assume it's 200.
let's give him more than his due. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt here and say it's $100, but that's gonna cost more than that to put that in the ground and everything else. And the town gets
Pay for
the
delivery.
benefit of trees later on and cleaner air and more picturesque landscapes and all that. So I think $100 a tree is highway robbery.
I also think we wanna disincentivize not planting the trees.
I would agree with that as well.
So,
but
you know,
In the
I don't get to
future.
vote, but I'd be in favor of more money.
Yeah.
How many, and I'm sorry, can we, I know you just said about Pioneer Circle, so
let me look at the other one.
17 of 26 not planted.
Yeah, let me keep
What are the
going.
other ones?
Let me get, I think this is Woodside, Ave, let me give you a number
I mean, it
there.
was like 15 on each essentially. I don't know how long these roads are. Well, I guess 26. Math is pretty easy. Sorry.
Woodside, there's a requirement of 49 trees, 17 are planted, so that leaves 32.
32?
Yeah,
Okay, wow, so we're getting worse here, okay.
let me
It's a
go to
longer
the next
stretch.
one, which is, I apologize, this is.
How many trees?
32 that are not
32
planted.
not planted of 49.
Lindsay Lane doesn't count because that is off the books now,
Right.
so, did I see something for Arrowhead? I apologize. Woodside,
Arrowhead, that's altogether different.
yeah, Pioneer Circle. We'll go down farther, maybe that's down farther. Rutland Estates. Excuse me, Lindsay. This is, oh, here we go. There's the Arrowhead. Got it. Sorry, just had to go down a little bit farther. And the tree count is 37 trees planted, 57 required, so there's 20 there.
20.
And the reason I'm,
It's almost 70
Ma-
trees.
yeah, so that's $7,000. I'm more apt,
Or 14. 28.
we, yeah.
And it's too late in the season to plant them now.
Yeah,
Right, our, regardless of what the fees are, the timeline was May 31st of next year.
yeah. I just,
How can we approve a road when that part of it's not, or accept a road when that part of it's not done?
that's the signed agreement that we have, that the select board accepted, that if we had a written and signed agreement with the developer, that was acceptable for them to move forward with the road.
So
We have a written signed agreement for the 53G. I don't understand why we keep going, all right, we'll take your word
Well-
for it, and then getting stepped on.
With this thing, if it was not done by May 31st, isn't the idea that could come out of the
Bond,
the bond, the 10% that's
Yeah.
held, which in theory we would either spend planting trees or
spend putting
not
in,
planting trees.
yeah,
But if we spend it on planting trees, we have X amount of dollars, 2,000, whatever, less to spend on problems that come up. Like we're ready to buy the car and we're going, okay, well, we're gonna have to fix that and this and that and
you're
like.
making an assumption there's gonna be problems with the road. You can't make that assumption.
No, I'm saying with the trees, if we're gonna take that out of our calculus, we're gonna say, okay, we're already planning to spend this money. If anything else comes up, we now have
No, we're
X minus $3,000
No,
to
we're
throw at
assuming
it.
that by signing this,
It's a legal
he
document.
will do what it says he's supposed to do. That's,
I don't have
not
a problem.
assuming that he won't and it's already coming out of the 10% bond. I'm saying if it doesn't, happened, it's the same thing with any other,
I guess I have a hard time assuming that he will.
well,
It'd be
and
harder
a
for him
person,
to move
don't
on
disagree, I just,
if he doesn't.
Well, remember, we have 2 more phases of that subdivision to get through before it's completed. So there is a little bit of hanging fruit out there.
Yes.
This is not the final portion of Bryce Lemon where walk away. You've still got phase 4 and 3. If I'm 4 and 3, I think it is. It's 2 cul-de-sacs, and I apologize to Jen. I didn't know there was 2 cul-de-sacs off of that main road. That was a mistake of mine. I didn't remember it in the plan.
Has DEP, right, DEP approved that crossing yet?
Tamika, go with the
No.
answer no.
Okay, so we think he's going to stick to something that we have given him and he has signed when he's
That
told
road
the
has to be
state to.
completed.
What's that?
That road has to be completed.
Right, but the state, at least as far as I know, told him to stop, and he went, they said, go ahead, proceed at your own risk, we do not approve. And he went, all right, see you later.
Yeah, he'll
And
pay a fine.
we think that, like, he's gonna tell the town of, he's gonna bow down to the town of Rutland when he tells the state of Massachusetts to turn the other cheek, to put it nicely.
Again?
Sir.
What do you wanna do? I mean, we can tell the residents that you're not getting any roads and it's up to you to figure it out.
yeah,
Or
no, it's up to him to figure it out.
we both know, or me personally knows, how this is gonna end up. They're gonna be private roads, the HOA is gonna have to deal with it, gonna turn the HOA over to the residents, and it's their problem.
Right, but if we do that, then maybe those residents speak up about the issues they've had, and maybe it has an impact in the future on his ability to do this and sell these homes and not let people know about the HOA or about the trees or anything else, and just try to push him into a corner where he goes, I'm not plowing you, figure it out.
I'm not willing, me personally, I'm not willing to throw a bunch of residents under the bus. That's me.
But we're not the ones throwing them under the bus, he is.
Well, we're not doing any negotiations. We're just basically putting a line in the sand and saying, that's it, too bad, too bad. That's not how business is done.
This is the paper trail.
Yeah, it's, what I'm saying is.
Didn't we already negotiate though in order to get
We did,
the deal
actually.
done?
Negotiate what?
And like, in order for this agreement to happen, didn't we negotiate the amount of trees that we wanted and things like that?
No, that was
Board
part of
wants
the
this,
rules, subdivision rules and regs
Yeah.
on trees on where they're supposed to go. That's part
Okay.
of the plan.
As I was.
Yep, so that was built into the design. What's happened in the past, and again, this is my experience, is that other developers, I'm not just Clee, they get to a point where they can't put the trees in, so they come to us, and unfortunately, in the past, we've just let it go. This is the first time we've ever come up with a quote financial package to actually recover something.
Do we have any sense of in the past when we've said, God, whatever, what percentages we're looking at? Because to be honest.
They were large,
To
this point.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is like,
yeah.
I mean, on Woodside, well,
Yeah.
you're looking at, you know.
Brunel, if you drove Brunel east and west, you would see the same thing. Large tracts of property with no trees in the front yard. And that's because Lenny said he couldn't get them in. People wouldn't take them. And the board at that time, which is before my time, I was out in the audience learning, that they said, okay, what are you gonna do? Force them to take a tree? No. So I just like this because at least there's something coming back to the town because the plan said that you need to put a tree.
What are when we talk about the 10% of bond that's held back, like what dollar values are we talking here?
I don't have it in front of me. I'd have
I mean,
to.
Every
like
bond
ballpark?
is
It's
based
different.
on a construction.
Yeah.
Do we have any, like she said, do we have a ballpark, or do we have any idea who holds it?
Oh, the town holds it.
No, what bank?
Well, no, I'm
It's a
just,
tri-party
Go through-
agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
so
just
that
wondering
third
if we're kind of doing our math and saying, okay, so if he bails on all of these trees and we're pulling out, 20 grand for trees, I'm just wondering how much of
Well,
that bond that
road
would
would have
represent.
each road would have their own bond.
Right,
so-
I guess that's true. So I guess we'd have to do the math separately, but
Yeah.
I'm just, I don't have a sense of sort of what the scale of this would be. Not that we're assuming that the agreement we make won't be followed, but I'm just thinking about if it's not,
Or
is
bond-
that 1% of the bond? Is that 80% of the bond? It's just, it's something I'd like to know.
So Clea has submitted a request to Norm to reduce the bond on all of these roads.
I'll write that.
We can't do that yet because they have to be accepted by the town before they can be reduced, but it has been sent to Kevin Quinn for his review. So I can go back and look at those documents
Okay.
and see what those dollar amounts are
Okay.
and let you guys know.
Thank you.
Are the bonds in phases based on each phase or the
Yeah,
completion
the
of the
road,
road?
the bonds are on each road phase.
Phase, so if a road has 3 phases, you have 3 bonds, so what you.
Yeah.
Just
So
to
the
double
whole
check.
Woodside basically will
Has its
have,
own,
if I'm not mistaken, 3 bonds. It was the one on
Right.
Charnock Hill, the one coming off 122A, and then
Yeah.
the connector portion of
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem if we wanna digest this, Dick, and talk about it the next meeting. Tamika, I still think we've got time, because,
Yes, December 9th would be your last meeting to make any final decisions and
Yeah.
make your recommendation.
let's, I mean, this is my recommendation, is we need more information from the bonds.
Yeah.
I think number 4, Tamika, I don't have an answer, but I mean, help me out, or somebody help me out. Do we need to get a letter from KP indicating that these funds need to be replenished? Sort of I mean, you've sent letters for Norm, and it doesn't seem to be having any effect. I think there's been phone calls made, no effect. Do we need to step it up? I'm asking, because that is the crux to me. Honestly, I do care about the trees, I care about the granite, and getting that done, but to Alex's point, if the money's not there, we're not going anywhere. It's a freaking, the brick wall's been hit, baby.
Well, that's it in a nutshell. If
So-
we need money to cover bills and we don't have it,
I'm not moving forward.
and that's it.
That's my bottom line. I'm not moving forward unless the bills are paid.
We're-
So I'm not leaving vendors hanging
Right.
out to dry.
Exactly.
Turner, I have, we'll deal with that one. That's number 5.
Are the dollar amounts in the written request on this punch list related to the unpaid invoice amounts, or are those just sort of?
So these are the balances as of today.
Mhm.
I have not processed the unpaid
Okay.
balances, the unpaid invoices that we received from Quinn Engineering.
Do we know if they exceed the balances?
It will bring it down to like a couple $100.
And they're supposed to be replenished, what is the,
So the standard
the
is
flag?
$5,000,
Okay.
each time we have them replenished. I suggested 2 on Bear Hill 2 because that particular one will be finished up with Arrowhead Way. So just to put in enough to kind of get us through the last stretch, but past practice has been $5,000.
So Tamika, with the current balance of 1369 in Bear Hill 2, is there about $2,000 in invoices left to get paid everything off? Is that what we're saying? Or, cause is 1369 what we have in the money sitting there, or is that the bills that we owe?
No,
That's the
so
current balance.
1369 is the current balance.
Wow,
And
what
then
are
there's a
invoice
few
balances?
For Bear Hill, I don't remember off the top of my head, but
Okay.
it's close to, I'm gonna say probably $1,000.
Okay,
And typically you do not want the accounts to go down to 0, so I said 2,000 to leave a little bit of a buffer in there.
yeah.
We need
Because that would eventually get returned to him once everything was said and done.
But we can pay the bills. That's the key with what we got in there right
No.
now.
The current ones.
Current ones, correct.
There are still gonna be some that we're gonna receive on the tail end of the street acceptance, including review of the street acceptance request by KP Law. Because
Whoa,
those
whoa,
come
whoa.
from, yes,
That can't happen.
absolutely, those have always come from
Those
the
are
revolving
citizens
fund. No, not for these, for the original requests
Oh,
that were
yes, yes,
processed for the town.
yes.
Yes, no,
I-
we understand not for the citizens
Okay.
petitions.
But I thought we did those months ago. They still haven't billed us for those?
So the ones for the initial review, they did,
Okay.
but then there was review following for as far as like the warrant, the motions, all of that stuff with regard to those, as well as the work on the easement deeds and things, like for example, I'm working on the easement deed right now, for Lindsay Lane
Yeah,
and getting that taken care of, so they help us with the legalese that comes along with that. That would come from the Bryce account, cause that's Lindsay Lane.
okay.
legal fees
So-
stack up quick.
Let me ask, if we can pay the bills for now, I'm good. I would request $2,000 definitely for Bear Hill. Let's go to Bryce Lemon with 2029. Is that going to, do we have bills that will exceed the 2029? For Bryce Lemon?
Very, very close with the current bills. I can't speak to the ones that we still haven't gotten.
So is a suggestion to get $5,000 for Bryce Lemon as opposed to 2?
Correct, yep, that's why I put $5,000 on there, because that's been the standard practice for
Okay.
the active subdivisions, because that subdivision is gonna continue to be active, and you're gonna continue to have reviews by Kevin and things like that.
I think, Dick, this is my opinion, Norm and Seth need to have a talk and find out where to go with this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this board's gonna, I mean, we could say, get her done,
Yeah.
but I think this has gotta be, they gotta make a decision. Do they need to
Yeah, how do
go
you
to
get it out?
KP and get a legal
Legal,
letter sent
yeah.
with the, you know, I hate to use this word, but cease and desist if the bills aren't paid? I don't know if that's legal. Again, I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
It's hard, I think the challenging part is then it ultimately costs the town money to collect their own money.
Well,
Yep.
it's that or
No.
let it go. And the only person that gets caught in the crossfire are the residents.
Right.
That's the crossfire. We can sit here and come up with plans and say we're not gonna let them do that, we're not gonna accept the roads. The residents are the ones get caught in the crossfire. And I get it, it's the developer who's causing this, don't get me
I mean, the
wrong.
town does too, if we're losing out on money.
Well, I think also we gotta put all this in an email, cause the stuff on the phone just doesn't get recorded. I hear about it from town residents all the time. And I think especially when we're dealing with this legal issue, having everything recorded that we're doing, going back and forth is gonna save our behinds.
Well, that's why I think that I'd suggest that,
And that's why I had put the dates in this memo too,
I
just
know, I
so
like
that you
this.
guys had a reference of when things were sent and,
yeah.
you
Well,
know.
that's why I think, Dick, to
Yeah.
just talk to Norm and say, you should have an official meeting with Seth.
Yeah.
With meeting minutes and all that stuff to be recorded, and then come up with a plan. And then if you wanna bring it back to the board, great, but I would give him, this is me personally, the latitude to work with the town administrator and come up with some way of getting this money, either by a letter from KP. I mean, I'm not saying the letter will get us the money, but some way to, and I use the word step it up.
Yeah, we gotta get it done.
Because 3 emails and no response.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, as long as Seth is willing to take it on. I mean, I don't wanna all of a sudden make this his issue.
Well,
No,
he has to, because he's the only one that can authorize legal
Okay,
use,
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong. I mean, that's what I remember.
that's why
Town
I don't know.
administrator, yeah, the town administrator is typically the only one that can authorize legal use. That's why I was suggesting, because if we do have to go to KP, Seth's gotta authorize it. I'm not saying he should be in the middle of making the decision, but he should be in the middle of, do we use legal counsel
Yeah.
to attack this problem?
Got it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Number 5, let's go back to 3. Is there does anybody remember a waiver of this granite that we voted on?
Sure we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
We did.
we
Yeah.
did, okay, thanks, I couldn't remember.
We went over it because of all the documentation.
I'm just gonna give the board a heads up, I personally have driven all of them, counted the stormwater drains, talked to Kevin Quinn to come up with a number of what that granite costs and installation. I'll be presenting that to the board, what I believe we should be asking for money back from the developer soon. I just don't have my i's dotted and t's crossed yet.
I would definitely agree with you on that, and agree with, I think the sentiment that we've laid out in the past, where I can't tell you whether asphalt or granite is better, that's not my purview, but keep it consistent without the development, just like you were saying. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the biggest
And
things.
to let the board know, I don't know if I said this last time, I talked to Chris Kolosky about granite. He has no problem with a 3-part granite. Maybe I said this
Yeah.
before, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself. So granite
No,
can be
I-
used as just a specific type.
Yeah.
And in the past, when, in the rest of Bryce Lemon, it's a single granite structure.
Going forward, can we require a specific kind of granite?
What I would
in
do,
future.
Lauren, is I would put in the subdivision regs all three options. Because what's happened is, we've gone from
yeah,
DPW director that wants this one,
Yeah.
to one that wants this one, to one that wants it. And I don't wanna, me personally, I don't wanna go with one specific one and
Well, but they'll pick one specific one when the plan is approved,
Correct.
right?
And the
But we wanna give
DPW
them, we wanna give them the three,
Right.
but
Let him,
but we
decide.
typically, when they pick that, part of that review is the DPW looks at it.
Right, but
And
then
if
if
at
we
that
have to build it for 10 years.
Yeah, if that director decides that, I don't want that one, I want to use the other granite, that is comment, they can come back to us.
But we could put a stipulation possibly that throughout the entire development, the inlets have to be the same?
That's how the design's supposed to be, Alex.
yeah.
That's not how this one ended up.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at the rest of our subdivisions throughout town, that's the way they are.
Mhm.
This is, excuse my language, sort of the redheaded stepchild of subdivisions, and I wasn't happy.
How dare you, I used to have red hair.
I'm sorry. No offense, it's just I'm frustrated because I've got a subdivision, and I take this personally, that there's asphalt one place, there's beautiful granite
Yeah.
another, and now I thought Lindsay was gonna have granite until I went and drove, and I'm going, so I got one cul-de-sac on one side of the subdivision with asphalt, and then everything else granite. Just to me, but the residents are happy. We had a resident at town meeting stand up from Lindsay Lane and said he is happy with his piece of road, and was ecstatic about how it worked and how it was built. I was like, well, I can't really argue with that, cause he bought the house and he lives on the property, so, on the road, but anyhow, I just wanna throw that out there.
Okay,
Just a
So I'm fine with that. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You know, with the curb or the curbing and then where it meets granite, you know, I've looked at several designs driving constantly over the road. And it's like, well, what's the cheapest for the town to repair? Maybe not the granite, but the curbing. If you do an A-berm, you know, if they get hit weird or they get hit hard, they just cut in a straight line down and then they shift and fall out. I mean, you see it like, and it's either bad pavement, you know, but you wonder which one holds up the longest,
It's
you
gonna be
know?
the granite.
Yeah, I mean, cities, I think, have granite for a
Right.
reason, I mean, that it just takes
Well,
abuse.
that's for like
Alright.
an entire mile of roadway. Obviously, that's not what we're gonna do.
Right.
We can't get them to do that, but what asphalt
What's that? Leo's got-
in the end might,
Oh, no, that's the
Oh,
cursor.
no, I think it's just the cursor.
That's a cursor.
Yeah.
It's like a little yellow
It'll be bigger
hand
in
when she
yellow.
raises her hand.
I guess it's just like, okay, well, if each DPW director is gonna pick something different, I mean, the best
She
one
had a
would
little
be
kid.
what stands up the longest, what,
Well,
you know, and.
I like the way that
what
Chris
holds
gave us two
water.
options.
Yeah, what holds
He goes,
water better.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with granite if you use this type of design, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with asphalt if you use this type of design. What should have happened, and again, I said this to the board last night, it's a learning experience. We should not let this happen again. We should inform staff that if a developer comes to them and asks questions, that they should immediately refer it back to the planning board. That's a planning board decision.
Yeah.
Learning experience, no blame, it happened.
Mhm.
Let's not make sure it happens again. I'm not happy it happened, because again, I take this personal, has in that subdivision is two different designs. So,
I think asking for the three-piece granite is the way to go. And from what I've heard from our meetings, there's a bigger throat or something at the back of it, allowing more water to come in. It's got the two pieces on the side that slope up to the top, and so that, like, for the plows, it
the
just
plows,
seems,
it's huge for the
it
plows.
seems
what
like
Chris
the
said.
best, it might not be the cheapest, but it seems like the best option for the town in the long run.
I like the fact that with that, it allows the leaves to be pushed over. With asphalt, you'll go by asphalt once, and because of the slower velocities, yes, it gets the water in, but it also, the slower velocities, you see the pile of leaves. And eventually you get the clogging, so that's what, and again, this is all Kevin teaching me, cause I am not a civil engineer by any means. So, I just wanted to cover three.
Okay.
5, we discussed last night, written explanation is why the planning board is not choosing to take action. For the roads, again, I'll present this to the board. There was nothing in that report that had
I mean,
anything to
there
do
was
that
no
we
action.
asked for.
Yeah,
There's no
And
action.
I presented that to the chairman last night. I said, listen, the last paragraph in that Turner report indicated what they could do for us, and there would be a fee, and I'm fine with that. But the first part was all erosion that had nothing to do with the road.
Yeah.
Had to do with the subdivision and the people that are there. I get that. So I don't know if we should, other than say, you know, it didn't pertain, I don't know. We can talk about that next week. I just want to point that out, that they're looking for a written explanation from us, and we probably should come up with something. So think about it.
I mean, I think the one thing I thought was pertinent was when they stated that there had been issues that could have contributed to other things before the aprons were added. It was something to that effect. But I think that, you know, the explanation could probably go something to the effect of the report dealt with aspects of the development that the planning board does not have any jurisdiction with.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Something to that effect.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's unfortunate. I don't know what got missed in what we had asked for and all of that. I don't by any means assume that it was on Delia, but that wasn't what would have been pertinent to our powers and our purview.
correct. And that's what I tried to tell Jen. I said, we specifically indicated as a board that we were looking for road, we were looking for water, we were looking for erosion to the road, we were looking to make sure the drains were in good. None of that was in any of their report.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's enough said.
You know, just before the enough said, Tim, you did, I was reviewing the minutes or my audio yesterday about it, trying to score up minutes. You did ask him, hey, or Norm did, he goes, can you tell us, even though you didn't study the road, when you're walking it, did something stand out? And he said, no. He says, as long as the drainage systems are functioning, these aprons are there, water in the roadway will get contained in the roadway. So you go, and like you said, that last bullet is, you want me to core it? Well, then I'll give you documentation on the coring. You know, and does it really go back to, is the road performing? Well, I'm sure if he saw a big split in the road, he would have said, wow, what the heck, you know, you better ask me to look at that too. And we would have gotten a heads up from even Kevin on stuff like that. So it was kind of, obviously it was a double check on Kevin's work.
Was that when Clee said he would shoot somebody if they tried to come out and core the road?
I mean,
Was that meeting?
Well,
I think so.
yeah, it was the 14th. But the other part was, you know, I think even though he didn't really look at the road the way maybe we thought, it seemed like, you know, it was gonna be a 3-step process. Even if you wanted him to get to part B, you needed A. We knew B was gonna be a long shot. It's almost like,
Yeah.
so we at least got part A out of the way, and there was some documentation that backed up kind of just knowledge of the area. And
Yeah, I mean, the only sort of potential action noted in it that seems like it would fall under our purview is coring the road, and there was no other reason to think that would be necessary. There was no other evidence to say to us, yeah, something really bad is going on here.
Yankees report came
Came in
Yankee
and
it
came
showed.
back clear, so.
it did.
Right, I mean,
I think you'd
if
have
there
a
was,
sinkhole if it was
to
really a
piece-
water issue.
if there was something like a divot in
Yeah.
the road somewhere,
Right.
then I'm gonna question the below it, so. The next one, if that's it, I just wanna go
Yeah,
into
I
6.
just-
6
yeah.
is really got me, Norm and I was last night suggesting, and this was, again, we get back to negotiations with the developer, is that because because the only way to get to that center part, phase 3 or 4, is you've gotta go through Woodside from one side or the other.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would want the construction traffic going through Woodside from 122A and not all the way through the road that's had travel, buses, trash cans, every trash trucks on it for the last 3 or 4 years coming off Charnock Hill. I would prefer to use the other one that hadn't had the amount of traffic on it. That's me, again.
No, I agree, because compaction, using the trucks and everything else is the best thing for that road.
can we require that?
Yes,
They did it
Okay.
with Brentnell Estates. He didn't
Yeah.
follow it, but they did. I had to call them on it, take pictures and videos and everything else.
There was some miscommunication between the DPW director and them too, but I thought it got resolved. I mean, now
Well,
are they still,
They just started tearing up that road again this week. They're putting in hydrants, so I don't know who that's on.
fire hydrants?
But when it comes to, I couldn't agree anymore that they all need to use the same entrance. I hear Delia's immortal words ringing in my head that best practice is to not accept,
Yeah.
like you accept all the roads at once. And obviously we can't do that.
Yeah.
But I think that we will minimize any damage by keeping it all in one path.
Yeah.
And I might even ask the homeowners, though that could get really tricky, if they had a particular path that they would rather go. Like even on my road, I know they're supposed to come from the Palmagussit end.
Yep.
But I don't want trucks flying down that end on my neighbors, and it's easier to get from Glenwood and Brentnell where I live. Just keep it slow, keep it safe, have, you know, the police take an extra interest, because I know we talk about the trash trucks, and I don't know why we talk about these trash trucks so much, because the trash trucks, let's say there's 4 or 5 companies, they go up and down once a week, so that's 4 or 5 trips. My office is right at the front of my house on Brentnell, and I see each one of those semi-trucks, dump trucks with a giant trailer, big 10-wheel dump trucks, making, I don't know, 20, 30 trips a day. You compound that over a week, that's 150 trips. Well, I don't know what the trash people are gonna do. That's really from the road construction, plus all the extra, I mean, they're not gonna deal with this, all the extra traffic that comes onto that road with the development. But I think that somehow those people, if they have a preference, not, hey, keep it out of my yard, but, hey, the school bus has to turn around here, or something to that effect, that might be something that could give us some good guidance.
The reason why I like it, like what you say, is because the compaction on that side of the hill, that's a very steep part of that hill. And I would like to see that road really compacted down as much
Which
as
is
possible.
coming off 122A.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Thank
the other thing that Norm and I talked about to the select board is a discussion with Blair Development about extending if Woodside was accepted, extending the 10% bond to 24 months, since that was potentially gonna be the construction period. Instead of the 12 months when it's accepted, typically after 12 months, you can reduce it to 0. So the discussion Norm and I were gonna bring to the board today was, do we ask them to extend that 10%, which would be a minor modification to the definitive plan of holding 10% for 24 months. So we could indicate that if there was any damage in that 24 months of building, we'd have a way to recover it. So I didn't know what I
didn't
like to
ask.
Well, again, that was my thought. At least we have something to negotiate with, as opposed to saying, nah, too bad.
At least it legally allows us to exercise that if you
Yeah,
put it
and
into
again,
place,
it's a minor
whether it-
modification. We have that ability. That's the purview of the planning board. Nobody else has that purview.
Yeah.
We can do minor modifications in negotiation with the developer, but
I
I don't know what the rest of the board thinks, but Norm and I thought that was a great solution to the concern. And I know, Leah, I think it was either you or Jen had brought that up, and we'd come up with the extra 24 months as opposed to 12. And if I remember, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that was acceptable by the select board or not? Or was it just a discussion point? I'm hoping
I don't know if Leah's still
she
there.
might be doing experiments on
For clarification's sake, it was my understanding that the select board's preference was for the construction traffic to go through the Tarnick Hill side of Woodside, because that portion has already been impacted by the construction versus on the new side, just for your consideration. They didn't make any formal votes, but they did seem amenable to the idea of extending the bond to help cover the
Okay.
potential financial cost.
And see, I'm with Alex, because he's been in construction. The last thing you wanna do is put more wear and tear on a road that's already
No.
had wear and tear. You wanna
Yeah, but
even it out.
if you stick it all on one side, then
Sorry, guys, I'm here, sorry.
at least you might be able to, like, I get what you're saying.
It's like a-
distribute the load.
Yeah.
But like, I also, this is my own ignorance, cause I don't have a license and don't drive, but is Charnock off of a dirt road? Like, would any construction,
no,
okay.
No,
Cause I know that does terrible wear and tear to the dirt roads, but
it's an asphalt road.
I see the validity in having them only take one route, cause I know with our road, granted, this is a dirt road, but like you can maintain the one half of it more regularly than the other one, but with it being asphalt,
And the reason I like
I'm
the
at a
fact
loss.
that if they were all coming off 122A is that we got that bond extended, we're sort of double dipping, we're bringing it off one road, all the construction's coming through there, and we're seeing if there's any damage in that 12 or 24 month period. So it's sort of a double plus for us and for the residents. If we go through Charnock Hill and any damage is done to construction, we don't have any way to hang that over anybody's head, because that's town accepted road already. Actually, that would be Chris's
Great
problem
point.
to fix.
Yes.
That's a great point.
Yes.
Thank you.
So-
Great point.
In the shorter distances,
Yeah.
just the traveling.
Leah,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
we were just curious, Norm and I had brought that up last night, that we were going to bring to the board the potential for negotiating a 24-month 10% retention on Woodside. And I thought I remember, again, it's been a long day and a long night. Did we get some type of, I don't wanna say vote, but support from the select board about that'd be a good idea to, for the planning board to press?
So a couple things. I think and Tamika, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't want to speak for the board as a whole. I think the conversation was, is there any way to extend that bond, either 24 months or until the completion of the rest of the phases that would be impacting the road? There was no, that I recall, the board didn't take a formal vote or anything,
Okay.
but it definitely seemed that there was kind of agreement among a majority of members that extending the length of the bond retention was desirable.
Excellent.
I just want to say personally, for the road access piece, I don't really remember a specific conversation about which side of the road to try to limit to. I personally, and I think this would be, I would feel much more comfortable if this is a route that you want input from the board, to have it come from the board perspective. But I think a couple things to consider is Charnock is already in really bad shape. I don't know if you guys have been driving up and down it with the storms the past spring, summer, and fall have really taken a toll on it. I know Gary, when Gary was DPW director, had worked with the developer to do some repairs on it, but the storms have really taken a toll on Charnock itself. And also, I believe 122A is a state road and not a town road, so that would be
Another reason to use it.
another piece that it's more prepared to handle the construction traffic, just because it's a major, quote unquote, major state road versus a secondary town road, if that makes sense. But like I said, my bigger concern is the condition of Charnock through the storms this past spring, summer, and fall. It's really deteriorated very quickly.
Well, my suggestion, Leah, was if we can get the bond extended, and again, I just put a number 24 months, and we forced all construction to come in off 1 and 22, we would sort of be killing two birds with one stone. We would, if anything happened to Woodside, it would be under bond. And secondarily, that road would be the major construction road, as opposed to coming off Charnock Hill. And if there was any damage to Woodside on that side, we as a board have no recourse.
Right.
It would be all on Chris.
Can I ask, and this is my ignorance of how sort of the bonds work, would we have to show that either the road was defective or the issues were caused by construction vehicles to recoup any money? Or like, how would that work if we were like, wow, in 18 months the road's in terrible shape, but we've had 15 wild storms? Like, I wanna make sure if we actually put this in place, it's something that we're not gonna get, sort of litigated out of.
Our engineer should be able to.
Yeah,
handle
this
it.
would be something I'd probably ask Kevin.
Okay,
And also, this would be a discussion when we're talking about the bonds of where the construction traffic was gonna come.
I mean, you definitely can not guesstimate the volume, but you at least, you can't say, we know you weren't there. I mean, you
Yeah.
clearly know. Like you said, I'm not saying 20 a day, but, you know, one trip one way, one trip back.
Yeah, I
Two
just-
trips in one.
Unless we're
Delivery.
sure.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Unless we're sure we know how we can enforce it, I don't want us to be in a position where they say, well, you can't prove it was our construction vehicles, and now it's like, why do we even do it in the first place? So I'm just,
Yeah, it's interesting, yeah.
The best example we have is Arrowhead has been under construction for 5 years. And those roads, a lot of it wasn't coming in from the bridge side, it was coming in from the Palmagussit side. And the question was asked last night, what damage has been done to roads from construction traffic? And Homer and I like, once they're town roads, they're out of our purview, we don't track anything. If damage is done before construction, then that's gonna be tracked by us.
right,
So
But-
I couldn't answer that.
right, cause this would be wear and tear or damage on a road that is now a town road.
But it still has a bond on it. That would be the thing that typical town roads don't have, is they don't have bonds on them because they're already been accepted and they've went past the 12 months.
Okay,
It's a 12-month, that's where.
so in that 12
Think of it as a
month.
warranty, we got a warranty.
Okay, but
That's
then
what
that's
we're
my, and I guess that's
increasing.
what I don't know, so in that 12-month period, if kind of anything happens to that road, we can
You can go
use it
back
to
and-
fix it. Okay, so it doesn't have to be.
And 9 times out of 10, when
Okay.
it's happened in the past, Lauren, where there, I can't remember if it was one of Lenny's property. There was an issue with the road inside the 12 months. Kevin pointed it out no, that wasn't Kevin, that was the
Yeah.
boys down in Auburn. I
In
can't think
Auburn.
of the
Yeah, he's a guy.
engineering company.
Cullinan,
Pardon?
Cullinan?
Cullinan, thank you.
Yeah.
Cullinan Engineering pointed it out. Lenny went and fixed it.
Yeah.
Just, okay, I'll go fix it. So we didn't have to pull a bond. It was repaired at his cost.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's, again, I'm not saying that's what would happen in this situation, but that is something that has happened in the past when there's been damage.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. It was trucks coming in and a sinkhole or something like that, and it was because of water underrun, which had a whole house drain coming out to a road that shouldn't have been coming out to a road.
Okay,
You know, if
Instead of a
he's
dry
supposed to build a road, it's supposed to last, maybe not the wear coat, but say a road's supposed to last
20 years.
forever.
Yeah, that's not gonna.
Whether
Have you
a
seen
trash
Arrowhead?
truck does the damage or whether my car does it, if the damage occurs,
okay,
it's his repair to fix.
okay,
It shouldn't really matter whose wheel really causes a problem, you know, I mean, for a way to just describe how to
Okay.
litigate it, if it came to that, but I mean, why not? Everyone's allowed to use it. If he's the one building road, it's a standard he has to meet, no matter what a
Yes.
bike rides on it, you
Yeah.
know?
okay.
I don't,
I'd hope.
with what we've had through town, and the other reason that the planning board, and again, there's 2 of us that are from that era, the reason we did the phasing is because if you tried to build from back to front, or front to back, you're gonna have constant traffic on over one road all the time. If you do phasing, and this phasing, I'm gonna take as much as hit as anybody else. The phasing that should have happened last is the one we're trying to accept the road. It should have been from
That'll
Woodside,
work.
from Charnock Hill, through that, and then the last phase was Woodside out to 122A.
Right.
That didn't happen, shame on us, it didn't happen that way, so we're in the situation we're in, but if we can get an extension and have a discussion with Mr. Blair about that, we can, but that's the
Good
last
idea.
one, I think.
Yeah.
My only other quick comment is, say Noble Hill, 100-house subdivision. It's not like he's doing 5 houses, it's not like it's 1 house off.
Oh, no,
Right,
it's-
no, it's the amount of traffic, it's gonna be a small highway for these deliveries until they're gone. You know, so to say, oh, it wasn't my trucks, it's kinda like, well, you're building 100 houses, like, you're claiming you haven't, so there's some.
That's been an issue. He's had trash all over the place
Well,
when he had a
it's
dumpster
a little
right there and he
different, but
blamed
yeah.
it all on the homeowners.
Yeah, but my other comment would be in the end is, say you want them to go from one side to the other, this is just a comment. you put up a sign, I know no one likes signs, you know, it says, you know, your truck with no symbol on it. Or it says please, and it says use, trucks use. It's a temporary sign, you have to eat it or whatever. It says what side of the road to go on, you make one mistake as a truck driver, you find out, oh, I went the wrong way, now I know. You wanna drive up and down that road the wrong way, cause you like to drive that way. Or it
You don't
doesn't
want-
say 8 AM to 5 PM, you know, start putting a thing that says like, we'll fine you. And I'm not saying that's the world everyone wants to get into, but if it's a nuisance thing where, you know, it's, you might as well put something that says, you know, $500. You know, I bet that's gonna eat into your diesel costs, you know, or whatever, like, you're not gonna wanna spend that money, so please use the other entrance. But if they don't know, without a sign, I mean a no truck sign, that can be taken down, you know, hit it on the telephone pole, temporary sign, something like that. I mean, that at least guides, you know, so people don't just go, well, there's no sign, how do I know? Oh, my manager's supposed to tell me that? Well, I mean, I'm sure he's gonna tell everyone that, you know.
Well,
It's just uncommon for everyone to be on track with that, you know. So I'm just saying a sign would be great. That says where to come from, use 122A. If it's a different subdivision, a different sign for wherever the preference is.
I just think next meeting,
I'd try to adhere to it if I was
to
a
get
driver.
this squared away so we can go back to the, cause this is what the select board's looking for an
Of course,
acceptance.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
documentation. I mentioned to him, and I'll let the board know that I said, it's not what you asked for last time. You asked for acceptance or no acceptance, you didn't ask for bullet points. Now that we have this, I think this is a great document. I think we need to discuss and come up with a solution for minor modifications for 2 and 3. Have Norm and Seth decide what they wanna do with KP on how to, and I'm sorry I'm using the word, step it up for the money, cause we need that money.
I have a question with that one, actually.
Yep.
When it comes to Bryce Estates, I read the decision, and it says that they're supposed to contribute $50 at the time of sale for each unit within the subdivision to a homeowners association trust fund to be managed by the Bryce Lemon Homeowners Association. Is this what you guys were talking about at the select board?
No.
When we couldn't decide if, or it wasn't decided whether or not he actually had to deposit the funds because he was the.
Jen brought that up last night, and Norm had said, and I'm not gonna disagree, cause I think he's right, is that up until, and I have to look at the decision, the conditions, but up until 75% of the houses are sold, he's in control of the HOA.
Right.
And then at that point, he turns that money, that $50 for 75% of the houses over to the HOA to control. So maybe a suggestion, and again, this is where I'm not an attorney. Can we ask for an accounting of that? I mean, I don't know.
I
His
would
money,
think
he's in
so,
charge of
big-
it.
Do we know
Right,
what
but-
percentage of houses have been sold?
Not 75. I think, if I remember right, it was in the upper 50s to maybe a little over 60. Once they start on this middle phase, that'll push it over the edge.
Right.
Is the account required to be like interest bearing or anything? Cause if not, it's kinda like, who cares? I mean, not who cares,
It's up
but.
to,
No,
it's up to Clea.
Yeah.
He's in
Okay,
charge
well,
of it.
yeah, I didn't know if it said anything, you know.
No, it
it's
didn't.
not-
No, we didn't get into the details of the account.
Okay.
We just said it had to Alex's point, it had to be set up and deposit. So I guess it doesn't hurt to ask for I mean, he can say no because it's his account,
Right.
but when it's turned over at 75%, there should be X amount of houses versus $50 in that account that gets turned over to the HOA.
So in the next paragraph beneath that, it talks about monthly reports, which have been grinding my gears for a while, that we're not getting any of these. It says monthly written reports shall be submitted to the planning board outlining the progress of work on the site and any difficulties encountered. If 2 consecutive reports are not filed with the planning board, the board will request the building inspector to stop issuing building permits and/or the DPW commissioner to issue a stop work order until the missing reports are received. I don't believe we've enforced that, but I don't understand why, cause these things keep popping up and we don't know that they're coming, I feel like. And these reports would tell us what is going on each site, and I understand that a lot of these sites are open for a very long time, which has gotta be hell for those homeowners. But I understand they're open for a long time and sometimes things don't happen, but that's an easy report. Nothing happened here this month, click send, you're good. And then if something does happen, we can go, oh, well, why didn't you tell us about this or something like that? I mean, we have a good amount of explicit power here. I don't know why we're not using it to oversee the progress of the site on a monthly basis.
I got a good one for it, but if anyone else wants to go first.
But he hasn't, I think, because he hasn't paid the money.
Okay,
Please.
you know, we're not gonna get him to do it, and I'm not saying we're not gonna get, but it obviously hasn't happened. He asked Kevin, can you make Kevin bill him? And it comes out of his 53G account. Kevin goes there once a week,
Once a month is what the report's
so
for.
once a month.
Yeah.
Make Kevin say, hey, this is what I see is going on. He does it anyway. I think Kevin's been giving us some updates with the bridge, or I'm not sure what really facilitates Kevin to make a visit, but have these monthly reports be sewed into someone that we can get to do the work, and then
To let you know, Keith,
Be billed.
typically it's either the planner or Norm giving
Guidance.
Kevin a head's guidance on when to go.
okay.
Or if there's, I mean, the developer can call up too and say, I'm putting down asphalt. And then Kevin will go to either check on that to make sure that before the
Yeah.
asphalt goes down, that there's a proper amount of
Yeah.
sub base,
Gravel,
base
sub-base.
unders, yeah.
Let's say, I mean, even foundations, like, isn't that part of a subdivision report technically? He can
No.
come
No,
in. he
not the
can-
housing not the foundations.
So,
Nope.
so the report would,
Not, that's
so
under the building.
theoretically-
We'll cover the road.
the report is only road based.
Road and like if there was a bridge or anything like that, or
Yeah,
if there's a
major
retaining
engineering.
wall that's engineered, things like that would be
Okay.
part of that report.
Water sewer lines.
Water
that are-
sewer lines, yeah.
I mean, how do we, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that would bring these reports to the table
Well, I can pretty much say, oh, go ahead, Kenny.
without.
Is it okay? I was just gonna say, if you guys remember back to Dave George, that was always a running agenda item.
Oh, yeah.
And if you had one, you talked about it, and if you didn't, you didn't.
Yeah.
But I was paying the bills back then too, and that's exactly what used to happen, Keith, is on a monthly basis, Carl used to go out, he would do his report, it would be billed to the subdivision account, and it was a regular thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
And then
Carl,
when John came in, I don't remember the reasoning why, but he suggested that you remove that from your agendas
Yep.
and not follow on with that
he
process.
wanted removed because there was, to what Alex said, there was too much time between reports. And I probably should have spoke up then, because an engineer, I want reports every month. My
And
job
perhaps he
sites
didn't
give me,
realize that it was a condition of the subdivision when he did that,
yeah.
you know, but I think in doing the other research, that came up.
This is my suggestion to the board, for this next phase that's going on, when it gets released by the DCR or DEP, whoever it is, we ask for those monthly reports. And again, if not, we should probably send a letter to the developer indicating that if we don't get them from you, we will be getting them from our engineer on a monthly basis. And there'll be a cost involved.
Yeah.
And this is me personally, and maybe I'm not on the board next May, who knows, when Noble Hill starts. But I would press to have Noble Hill monthly reports from day one, because that
Absolutely.
major
that
project.
subdivision is so,
Deep.
well, forget that, the way it's laid out in phases is
Yeah.
that, and the way the conditions say in those phases is that the developer cannot proceed to the next phase unless the planning board authorizes it.
All right.
So just wholesalely going in there and clear cutting the road, it shut them down.
That only works though if we actually put our foot down.
Correct, but we haven't had a chance to do that because we've never, after the Molten Pond nightmare, Noble Hill was the first chance we got to clean this up. Because the
Yeah.
rest of the subdivisions were all before Molten Pond
Yeah.
was litigated and happened, so Noble Hill was the best learning experience we had where we were able to phase it, so that's enough,
All right.
I've
What
said.
is Molten Pond?
Molten Pond's the one, the
That's
pond
Bear Hill.
Bear
on
Hill.
Bear Hill, that big pond.
When he
is
built the extension that doubles back down to the bottom of Bear Hill, there you can see there's a giant pond over on the side, and when he cut that, a lot of the silt got in and
Okay.
He
snake got
clear
involved.
cut, he
Yeah.
clear cut that whole area to put the road in, as a one single road.
What road?
Is
that helps me.
Is that Grizzly? Yeah,
Grizzly, yeah.
Grizzly.
Okay.
Oh, that pond is off to the
And
right.
Grizzly runs into, I think,
Are we all
Cleveland.
set now? Leo, you have any other comments?
No, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
I have
Are you gonna try and get those
Yeah.
reports going forward?
I think we should, I think it should be a letter.
Okay, well, let's do that.
My only comment before we adjourn, but if you have other things to talk about, go for it.
No, go.
I don't really want a clerk anymore.
gathered.
So I'm sure you can get it, you can see it. I didn't write it on the wall, but it's with invisible ink.
Do
I
you
just
mind-
wanna get
Do
out
you
of
mind
this.
if I removed you? I shouldn't say removed. I
can
helped
put
you
a
with that
letter in.
decision
Yeah,
on the bylaw subcommittee by
I saw it
appointing-
there, yeah, I
You
saw it
okay with
there,
that?
but here too,
Okay,
I just don't wanna be on this.
I was helping you 50%.
Yeah, I don't wanna be this risk person where it's
Amanda on the bylaw?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
good at that.
she's she accepted it, and I was trying, when I was gonna talk
Yeah,
to
I
Keith
missed it
with
too.
tonight,
I missed
I was
it
just
even,
like,
so.
it's not personal, I just don't, I could see that you were getting a little frustrated.
No, there's a lot there, and I don't think I have the time,
Alright.
unfortunately, right now,
All right.
to meet these
So,
mile markers.
we're gonna have the next
Appreciate your
meeting,
honesty.
we need
We'll
to
have
put
the
an
next-
agenda item for clerk.
Yes.
I don't wanna deal with it, so,
I can't take that stuff on, there's a lot
well,
there.
I apologize that I'd have to even say it, you know, cause it puts
Hey,
pressure on me.
You just saved our bacon by having that
Yeah.
recording and that for that meeting, because I was like, there was so much that was done in that meeting,
Yeah,
and if we have to repeat all of that, oh my effing Somalis.
yeah,
Very
we'll
good.
figure it out though.
Do I hear emotion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.